All right, I think we got it to work. So Streamlabs, I guess, decided to like log me out of all of my stuff. So I was just like straight up streaming to YouTube, but not like logged into my account or some weird scenario. Not exactly sure. But it looks like everything is live. Do I have any heartbeats in the chat? Is anyone there? Is this actually working now? I never had that happen. It like logged me out. It's like your login has expired. I will say, starting back on this kind of idea here and kind of re-leveling back up my druid, this druid, made me remember like why I really enjoyed balanced druid leveling, or druid leveling, I guess, just in general. Oh, that's pretty close. I need to fix my bars here a little bit. My I basically went AFK. Everything seems to be working. Oh, that is so good to hear. Let me know if the volume or anything is a little bit weird or out of whack. We'll turn off YouTube Studio then here. Yeah, that's super weird. I don't know why I did that. But we're level 16 right now. My goal is to try and get level 20 tonight. If we can get that big rank 1 Starfire. I haven't really been paying attention yet this run at all because I've been trying to get this all set up, so I feel like I've definitely been slacking. But when we're paying attention, we actually do pretty good DPS. Ooh, I'll take those. Thank you very much. Oh, this guy's still in combat with us. So we have our super OP skinning knife with a good old 30 spell power on it. Carry us all the way up to 60. We actually might end up replacing it along the way once we get up to like the 40s or whatever. It's hard to say because the first time I really went through and leveled on my druid, really on all my characters, was like phase 1, phase 2. So I don't really know like when people were gearing up and doing stuff in, you know, the later phases, I didn't really get to experience that at all. So I'm not sure how different that's going to feel as we start getting into like the 40s and 50s. I don't think it'll be too different, but there might be some new quests or something that's available. Dude, my neck is so messed up. I think we're done with the quest in here yet. Oh. Do we only have those 3? I'll fix the UI after this. I just need to move my my bartender bars, which I can kind of make those tiny and move them over to the side. We don't really need them. I can move Troofy over. Yeah, I had one of those things where like I woke up and my neck was just like super stiff, like I could barely turn my head. You know, like something, either I had like a crazy nightmare and I was probably like fighting beluga whales or something in my dreams, but I woke up and my right side of my neck was just like frozen. I like couldn't turn my head or anything. It's just like hurts so bad if I try and move. So if I look a little robotic tonight, But so far the balance, I didn't level the first time at all as balance, but balance has actually been pretty fun in these like lower levels. We'll see. I'm hoping it doesn't get too difficult as we get a little bit higher level, but I think it'll be okay. Oh, we got those bracers. We're doing mining and herbalism. Mining and herbalism. Let's try this playlist. But it's weird, man, going back and putting in my like actual macros that we use on our main to have access to while leveling is pretty weird. Pretty weird. Pretty solid though. We'll have 3 quests to turn in from this. Hate it when that happens. Getting older is weird. Sleeping can be dangerous. Yeah, dude. I was like, oh my gosh. I think I actually like just have like a knot in my back, you know, that's like need to go get like a massage or something. They'll work it out and I'll feel fine. It's not anything serious. I just know it just was like super uncomfortable the last couple of days because my back's all tight. Uh-oh. No, quarter pounder! Rip, dude. We have no res, man. What do you want to do? You gotta run it back. Here, let's move our bars right now while we're doing this. So I'm gonna move these over here. I'm gonna move these down. I don't really actually even need them, but to kind of like set up our... What's the scale on this? 5... Oops. We don't need the reputation bar. We also don't need the stance bar. We'll throw that over there. And 10, we can move way, way down in size. Put this over here. A little more minimalistic. You know, what's up, Minnow? How you doing, man? Sorry to ask about demonology? No, you're welcome to ask about demonology, man. I just kind of doing some low-key Friday night winding down classic, and I figured I'd go ahead and just throw on the stream. Is the health PvP trinket still working good for demo? It's still working the same as it was. So one thing that'll be interesting, I don't know if you guys saw Kalamazi's video that he did, but the changes on the PTR where they're changing Demon Fire from your Tyrant is going to scale with the From the Shadows buff. which is a little bit weird. I actually thought it already did, and it doesn't, but for some reason I already thought that I thought it already did, and I thought it was basically like a wash between Vile Fiend or that because of the way that the demonic consumption scaling worked. But long story short is that there's gonna be some viability now in running from the shadows because you're getting your dog damage increased, and which means you're gonna run carnivorous stalkers potentially more often, right, for the conduit. And you're also getting the dog potency or the dog legendary buffed. There's all these things buffing dreadstalkers, right? So if you're running carnivorous stalkers, from the shadows starts gaining more value because your uptime on the buff is actually going to be higher because you're going to have like chance of it reoccurring, you know, regardless of how often you're casting dreadstalkers. And so with that being the case, I think it's probably a wash between like Vile Fiend and from the shadows, but point being is the health trinket scales into like the Vile Fiend playstyle, right? Because you're amping the health pool of the summoned minions. So if you're not running Vile Fiend, I would say the health trinket starts to lose some value, but it all kind of just depends, because if you're basically getting like a Hand of Gul'dan cast off instead of Vile Fiend, like in lieu of, right, then it ends up kind of still having the same amount of value. But point being is that you're going to be able to start playing more like normal caster type things and be able to play builds that will kind of work with that play style a little bit more so than they do currently. At least like the discrepancy won't be so different between the big like health trinket stuff and the other stuff, you know? Thanks for the Warlock videos, mate. Hey, you are welcome, man. I'm glad that you enjoy them. Kalamazoo is very interesting video. The Kalamazoo video is interesting. Yeah. I thought, I was really hoping like, so he intros like that whole first part of that video, he goes into it and he's like talking about all these like cool buffs that were like your main pet is getting all this like buff damage. I'm like, oh my gosh, is Felguard gonna have some crazy buff and like our Felguard's gonna be doing a ton of damage? And he gets to Demo and he's like, oh, your Tyrant hits harder on From the Shadows. I was like, that's not that cool. Like, it's still good. I'm glad that that's going through, but I thought it was gonna be like, it's so weird. Your Tyrant just automatically is doing 20% more damage. But that wasn't the case. I do think one other thing is that there was a post someone linked, I think in the Discord, like a Twitter back and forth between the devs, like responding to the community that the versatility bonus on the trinkets was not scaling with your minions. And from what I can tell, like I've tried to test it on the PvP target dummy in Ogremar, and it's also still not scaling. So that's a really significant thing that's not really getting talked about right now in the patch notes. But if that's not happening, and the response that the WoW dev team, like Twitter, had was like, thanks for bringing this to our attention, we'll fix this. So the inference was that that's not how it's intended. So if they do that in PvP, like for me, I'm in full PvP gear, right? That's basically a 15% damage buff to my pets in PvP all the time. So if that, even just that change by itself, along like these other patch notes, is like a ton. So this like From the Shadows aspect is cool, but that's not even, I don't think is going to be super impactful in PvP, and I don't think it's going to be super impactful in PvE either. But I could see it making Demo a little bit stronger in like Mythic Plus, because From the Shadows is generally what you want to run in Mythic Plus, and now it's not really going to like hinder your single target how it kind of would have before by comparison. So I think it's a good change. But point being, if that versatility buff is in fact not in the game now and is going to get put in, and our pets are not interacting with the versatility bonus stuff correctly, then that'll be pretty significant. Just found your channel, enjoyed the Moonkin content so far. Hey man, we'll have all kinds of Moonkin content coming up in TBC. I also for all you Warlock boys in the chat, I am planning on also having a Warlock in TBC as well, and very, very likely going to be playing Demo. So we'll have Warlock and Balanced Druid TBC content. I think my Warlock is the character I'm going to actually boost. I just leveling as a Druid is way more enjoyable, and I'd like to get this second Druid up to have like an alt just for, I feel like it'll be good just for content sake, and then to have like this one be like my farming alt where I have like mining and herbalism, and then I'm gonna boost up my Warlock, I believe is kind of my plan. What's up, Flump? How you doing, man? Long time no see. How you been? In raids, can it out DPS AF and Destro with PI, Rallying Cry, Stam Flask, and health trinkets? Yes. I mean, it's all relative, but when we were raiding, I was top DPS most of the time. It's hard to say now because I haven't raided like as of late, and there's just a lot of factors, right? Certain fights just cater to different classes better. But generally speaking, Demo and PvE content was not bad, and I was doing very good. I was very competitive on DPS without you, like the Rallying Cry thing I wasn't doing. The Stam Flask to me was not, when I tried testing that kind of stuff, it wasn't stronger than the intellect bonus. There might be something that I missed or like didn't test correctly, but when I had tested it, when I had tried it out, it wasn't worth going like Stam Flask and like Stam Potion. Int Flask and Int Potion was still more actual DPS, but I didn't use like Rallying Cry for my DPS cooldowns and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't doing that crazy. I did get a couple PIs. I did get a couple PIs when we did the fights, so I had that going for me. But yeah, I mean, Demo's super competitive. It's honestly, every spec in the game is good. If you're not, you know, 8 out of 10 mythic right now, you really can play any spec you want and you're gonna be fine. You just have to do the homework and make sure you understand your class and your rotation well enough, you know? You don't want to go and just be dead weight. And if you play something that's less meta, the less meta you are, the more actual work you have to do to really make sure you know your stuff, because you have to make up that few percent difference that you kind of innately don't have in your DPS because of the fact that you're, you know, off meta and potentially performing on a slightly lower level. But in retail, stuff is very balanced, all things considered. Not all the way balanced, but very, very close. Very, very close. And MIDI oversold it a bit. Yeah. I mean, I love Kalamazi's videos, man. He has some great content. He puts a lot of time into it. I appreciate how thorough he is. I know some people are a little too like ADD for that kind of format, but that's kind of how I am when I'm doing videos too. I'm sure you guys notice is I kind of over explain in a lot of ways because I want to make sure it's very understood, like what my thought process is, and I feel like that helps alleviate a lot of comments of things that are not clarified or whatever. But he's similar too. All of his videos are like 30-40 minutes videos usually, and so even if he gets to where he's being repetitive or like whatever, I still really appreciate how thorough he is with his explanation, his analysis. I'm a Demo lock but not a boy. Sorry. Demo people. It's all Demo people. This is a very non-discriminatory group, okay? You can be Demo whatever you want and you can hang out. No big deal. Been good, been going hard on the off-meta specs lately. You have, or are you saying I have? Have you, what off-meta specs have you been playing? Tell me you're doing like hunter tanking or something crazy. But yeah, man, we're just getting back in, dude. So they announced TBC. So right when Shadowlands launched, we kind of like paused on Classic in general because the vast majority of our whole guild just started playing retail. So it made it really difficult. Like we would, even if we're short 5 or 10 people in the raid, it was too hard to like pug and try and do all that. I was not interested. And for Shadowlands, we all kind of just gravitated to that. But then, like, as a side note, we all thought TBC would be coming out or announced. Look, we got that boot speed in, you see how much faster I am than these little slowpokes back here? We're flying, dude. It's like, hold on to your seats. But when they announced TBC and they made it clear that you're going to be able to, you know, your gold is going to be able to come with you to TBC, I'm like, shit. Because I thought for sure they were going to do like a gold wipe or something. Like either like a gold wipe or like all gold and BOE items will be deleted from your characters. I did not think they were going to let people go from how inflated the actual gold in Classic is by comparison to what it was in, you know, originally back in the day. What's up, Charlie? Hey, thanks for the follow. Welcome, man. Welcome. I was really surprised. I didn't think they were going to do that. So, long story short, I didn't have my stuff all set up thinking I was going to be able to have gold and just go straight into TBC with all the gold that I have. So I had all kinds of items and mats and things like stored up for Nax. And so when they announced it, I'm like, shit, I need to like go through and start liquidating some of this stuff because Nax is going to basically be coming to an end pretty soon. You have guilds farming it still and doing it regularly, but it's not nearly as hyped as it was like kind of originally. And I'm like, as we get closer to TBC, more people are going to start doing the same thing, and everyone's going to be liquidating all the stuff they have, all the mats and stuff that aren't really like, you know, relevant anymore. And so I basically have been spending the last week or so, last few days, kind of trying to do that. Thanks, guys. And so in doing that, I kind of went through my professions and kind of reassessed everything. And I was like, you know what? You know what we should do? We should level up another druid to be a real full-fledged balanced druid degenerate. How do you have panther bags at your level? They're not panther bags. They're the mooncloth bags. So that was one of the things. I have all this mooncloth stored up because I was going to sell all this stuff at the beginning of Nax. And then when Shadowlands went live, I kind of forgot about all of it. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to I had one traveler's backpack on one of my alts. And then I made these 3 mooncloth bags. So we just have full 16 slaughters just to make the leveling process a little bit easier. I'm mining in herbalism, so that's kind of why there's so many of those mats in here. I'm also kind of leveling first aid while we're going, but not really. I'm not really worried about first aid at all. The main thing is I need to try and kind of simultaneously level up mining and herbalism while leveling. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to kind of go back and do it. I don't think I need this cloth, but we'll leave it for now. Shaman tank, arcane mage, and melee hunter, dude. You know what's funny is all of those sound amazing. Shaman tank I already had made, right? I don't know if you saw me do any of that content, but I did do that for a while, and I actually really did like it. It was really fun. It was more fun in dungeons. Hold on, let me catch up to where I am in this. Do this, complete the quest. Slaying the beast. First aid. Okay, then we go this way. I gotta kind of pay attention to this. I really like staying on the like on this guide because it makes the leveling process just so much smoother. So much smoother. You don't get to any of those spots where you're like, shit, I'm like 2 levels too short for this next zone. Arcane mage sounds really fun. How has that been? That was the melee hunter was, because I have a 51 hunter. I think he's 51. He might be like 52, but 50 something hunter. That was actually my first character. It's actually named Wooey. And that was my first character. And then I got kind of bored when we got to like level 50. I was like, this is not going to be that fun to me. So we stopped playing him. But I thought about finishing leveling him and trying out the melee hunter build. And then I thought about starting to level up a mage just because they're so good for just making gold easy, you know? And I was like, dude, arcane mage with like the arcane missiles, like that could be pretty fun. But I never did it. But I did think about it. So arcane mage is amazing. Dude, I love to hear that. I would love to play. Dude, it would be fun to play arcane mage and be like actually really geared. What's our first date at? I'm probably gonna not even really do first aid. It's kind of brutal. I'm making a lock in TBC for TBC now and going to main a priest. Do I boost a rogue or a hunter for fun in PvP? Well, hunter is really good in TBC. Hunter's really good. So do you already have a priest? You already have a priest. You already have a priest and you're leveling up a lock now. So you'll have those two at level 60 and then you want to boost up a third character. Am I understanding that right? Doing shaman tank and BWL pugs. Are people actually letting you come as a shaman tank? That's kind of cool. I had a hard time. I tried doing that and people like wouldn't invite me. Or they wouldn't let, they'd be like, no, you're a tank. Like, no, you can either heal or you can get out. I'm like, come on, man. Arcane Mage nearly done with MC loot. Wow. Hunter's leveling one for TBC. Yeah, Hunter and TBC gets really good. I think we... Sorry, I'm like super stiff, guys. I said this earlier. I like slept on my neck wrong and my neck's all jacked up. Yeah, we gotta run up here. There's some good little tricks if you guys haven't done some of these little shortcuts before. I really like this website. This is the website that like Cargos and a bunch of those guys had put together, the classic WoW.live. And I don't like having the add-on in game. It's just like too much stuff going. I don't like when it like puts all the crap all over the map and all that. I don't know if it's just being like weird. It's probably me just being weird, but either way. So we got to get up to this little nook right here, and then we die, and then we res over there. Yep, so you have 3 tunes. So you're basically trying to figure out for your third character, do you want a hunter or a rogue? I'm trying to think of... I mean, rogues are always good in PvP because they're rogues, right? You're never gonna level a rogue and be like, oh, this sucks for PvP. So if you're like PvP focused, I think rogue is the safest bet. But I do know hunter gets very strong in general. Why are there no mobs over here to kill me? Between those two, it's hard for me to say in specifically TBC. Like in retail, I like rogue way more than I like hunter. I don't know, man. I feel like rogue would be more fun to gear up to. The thing that's kind of, for better or for worse, the thing with hunters and TBC is a lot of your like kind of BIS gear is profession stuff, or you have to like grind the dungeon set. So if you're gonna actually gear up your hunter, let's look at this again. If you're gonna actually gear up your hunter, that would be fun, but you're gonna have to do like a lot of kind of grindy type stuff if you're trying to actually gear him well. If that makes sense. Hunter's really good in TBC. The way when I was watching, because I don't know if you watch. Oh shit! No, don't kill me! Don't kill me! No! Leave me alone. Oh. Dude, this is like one of the scariest parts of this whole leveling experience, is having to take res sickness during this and try and run through Ashenvale and not get attacked by a wolf. But like I was watching Cargos and he was doing like a whole hunter deep dive thing. And hunter looks awesome just in general. Like the things that they change in TBC look great, but so much of the gearing is very kind of grindy in the sense that it's not like you can just buy some BOEs off the auction house. So the way I look at it is like if I were to have a hunter as an alt in TBC, it would be a relatively time intensive alt because it requires you to kind of grind out some of the stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just know for me, I'm not going to want to spend the time doing that. So I would not be picking an alt that I can't either get the PvP gear, and that's kind of like really good, or buy like, you know, some reasonably priced BOEs or something and get like really good gear that way. If I can't gear kind of one of those two ways, the likelihood that I play an alt like that is pretty slim. From like just trying to be as practical as possible, right? Like as realistic as I can. Don't want to set myself up for failure. But I think Hunter is a great class in TBC, and I think it would be a lot of fun to play. But it just depends on how hard you're going to go on your other two characters, you know? Like, are you planning to like try and rank up in PvP and get them both like to 2K rating in arenas? Like, I feel like it's going to be hard to do that and have enough time to like gear up an alt. But if you're playing multiple tunes relatively casual, I mean, I don't think it'll be hard to have 4 or 5 alts in TBC and have them all reasonably geared with how like Karazhan's going to work. Just like in general, all the crafted stuff, the PvP gear in general, I think it'll be pretty easy. You're going to have a lot of options of gearing that is going to be from content that's relatively easy to pug or to like, you know, it's not going to be like, oh God, I couldn't get a Kara group together. Like it's just too difficult for people to do. Like that's not going to be the case. Hunter's better for PvE, Rogue's better for PvP. Yeah, I can see that. The other thing is Hunter's amazing at like farming, right? So if you're trying to say you're like, you know, whatever, herb skinning on your Hunter, that's like a money making machine right there, right? And you can just go and just farm and, you know, go out in the world and kill stuff on a Hunter and just have zero downtime. If you're doing any of that kind of content, Hunter's just absolutely head and shoulders above like every other class and spec. I think I'll go Rogue. Yeah, dude, Rogue is so much fun. So in retail, I like leveled up a bunch of alts, kind of like all off meta stuff. So I made an Assassination Rogue, and it is, I would say Assassination Rogue and Mistweaver Monk were like the two kind of surprises for me that I leveled up, and I thought I would enjoy. I thought I was going to enjoy all these classes kind of the same, and Rogue PvP, especially like in Battlegrounds and stuff, was just so fun. Like not even like OP or anything like that, but just in general, like Rogue PvP is just super fun. It just, you could go and just do BGs for like 2 or 3 hours, and it was like always a good time. Like you're always just having fun, you know, running around sapping people and ganking people and stun locking people, and it's just, if you gravitate to PvP at all, Rogue's always just a good option, you know. Flop, have you been streaming the Arcane Mage? I've seen you stream a couple times in the last like couple 3 weeks. Like I've gotten the notification, but I wasn't home when you were streaming. Usually, like if you or Plasma or intentionally, like if any of you guys are streaming at all and I'm home, I usually will turn on the computer and or turn on Twitch and watch you guys. Do I grab this? Pick up Warsong reports. Okay, if you say so. I've messed this quest up so many times. So you get the Warsong reports. This. But for so many times, like literally 5 characters, I didn't realize that you had to open this up. So I would go to the mob and I'm like, oh my God, did I delete them? Like it wouldn't let me do the interaction because I didn't realize you had to like right click to like pull the reports out of the bundle, which that's such a stupid mechanic because it's one space, it's like one bag slot either way. It's like why have that? It's like adding absolutely nothing. I just want it to be a fun PvP dungeon character. I think Rogue will have a lot of kind of cool builds and stuff you could do too, you know, like whatever, different like mace builds or different like fist weapon builds or whatever it may be. Like I feel like, I don't know, I think Rogue would be a blast. Okay, we got to do this sickly gazelle thing over here too. have something in here. It's this. The little Druid quest. This Druid quest was actually really fun. I don't know why I just... Oh, look, there's one. Oh, there's one. We'll get this guy. He's closer. Do I have to get 10 of these? Yeah. The Druid quests are actually really fun. I don't think I'm going to do the aquatic form quest, though, this time around. I think it's like a little bit of a waste. That was like the one quest that was kind of brutal. All the other class quests I actually really liked. Looking forward to the pre-patch to flip over to balance. Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man. The pre-patch is gonna be interesting. I'm pretty excited for that. I feel like it'll be cool just to have the new talents. I mean, the same excitement I had for Classic and getting back like the Classic talent trees is the same kind of sensation that I have towards TBC. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. We also have I have a bunch of old friends from TBC. Like that was the first expansion we actually kind of played together. And I think they're all gonna like transfer over to our server and stuff. So I think we're gonna have quite the squad. Used to make Demo Lock back in TBC, gonna do it again. You know what's funny is I was looking through the Warlock talents because I didn't play. I have a Warlock in Classic, but it's just a summoning alt. And I was like, oh yeah, TBC is when you get Felguard. I was like, ooh. So we'll have a Warlock in TBC as well. Play some Demo Lock in TBC. What's up, Briv Z? How you doing, man? How you been? Are you leveling? We're just leveling, man. Just leveling. Switching to Elemental Shaman. Hey, Ellie Shaman's a good call too. Elemental Shaman was actually my main back in the day. That was my main. I tanked on in Serpentine Caverns on what's the boss? The boss where you have to like tank the Strider. You have to like Frost Shock the Strider and like run around as a Elemental Shaman. I was our Strider tank. Ellie Shaman was fun, man. I remember you get that like that overload, lightning overload trinket from Kara on a shaman, and it's just like lightning flinging all over the place. I approve of that change. I approve of that. I think we also want to pick these up, right? Yeah, Ignition and Escape. Have to like work our way over there. The old feeling you get back in the pre-patch and the TBC mob days are amazing. I know it's like they're just so. I felt like there was always so much build up for, you know, the new talent trees, and I don't know. It was. I remember it just was so exciting back in the day. It was such a big deal to have all the new talents coming out. You're like, oh my god, no way, dude! I'm getting a new. Like, oh, can you believe this? I'm getting Felguard. This is gonna be so cool. Oh my gosh, I get tree ants. Some hot action, dude. This is a good old boomy leveling stream. We actually have a pretty good little pre-20 balanced Druid set here. We got the skinning knife. Right, we got the skinning knife with the. I'm actually gonna drink. 30 spell power on it, and then I have a good chunk of intellect gear. Most of my stuff here has, you know, a few intellect, so we're sitting in a good spot when it comes to the gear. we're following the classic WoW guide, so I know I think we don't go into like Wailing Caverns until around like 20 or so. I think is when it has me go in there. One downside kind of is when you're running the skinning knife is that it's kind of hard to finish off mobs. So, and I don't have like that many ranks of different spells yet, so it's hard to like down rank to kill them too. We're like not super efficient in that regard, but it's okay. It's still really fun. I feel like I kill stuff really fast. I have to drink a lot, but it's fine. I can also, it's like just go bear form too, and in between drinks, I'm doing that some. Did you play Boomkin in the original pre-patch? No, originally in Classic, I think the highest I got in actual Classic was a level 55 warrior. It was a night elf warrior, and it was named Treant. Oddly enough, spelled exactly like the treants that Boomkins get. I don't know if this was some kind of like 15 years of foreshadowing in the making. It's very weird looking back at it now that was of all things I possibly could have named my stupid night elf warrior, I named him the like TBC balance druid ability. Right, that's a little weird, but so in Classic, I think the highest I got was like level 55 or something like that on my warrior, and then when they announced TBC, I was like, dude, I want to play a shaman in TBC, and so I re-rolled basically and made an alt, and I got to, I think I was level 58 when TBC came out. Like I remember not really ever doing, like I never did like molten core or anything at all. Like I did it I think on like my warrior when I was like level 55 and like died at like, you know, on the golems at the very beginning, and like it just gave up on it. Like I never actually got to really experience any part of Classic, but for TBC that was the first expansion where I was like actually played. They added so much in TBC. I mean, I feel like TBC is the first version of WoW that there's really kind of, for an MMORPG that has so many different classes and specs, it's actually pretty balanced. I mean, there's still some stuff that, you know, can be a little frustrating or a little strong or whatever, but to have that many variables like in play and have all the classes and specs feel so different and the gameplay just feels so fluid, I feel like that was the first kind of expansion that accomplished that. Vanilla's great in its own way, you know, this is always going to be like a fun game, and from like exploring the world and leveling and the kind of like solo gameplay aspect is insane, and the way that this kind of like vanilla forced you to kind of join communities or create communities and work together and all that kind of stuff is pretty unparalleled between the other expansions. But TBC is the first one that, from like a tier bonus tier set perspective, is amazing. The talent trees are much more, you know, fleshed out. The overall DPS between all the different specs is much more in line with each other, even though there's some that are definitely stronger than others. It's like every spec, you know, is viable to some extent. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be fun. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, Felguard is gonna be interesting. The thing I'm really interested about with TBC is, in general, like the way Classic is, right? When this came out, there's a lot of metas that evolved that weren't real, that weren't at all a thing back originally, right? And I'm curious how much of those happen in TBC. Like, for example, I was looking at a build. Let me look it up. So I was looking at a build. Here, let me get to like a safer spot. I'm gonna pull shit and die. This is pretty safe, right? That, and we'll see, like, I don't know if this type of stuff is gonna have any viability or not, because it's hard to tell when you're looking at like just the raw numbers in this, like the percentages and all that kind of stuff. You don't really know what that's actually going to equate to. Yeah, I think it was something like this. This is not what I would do. I think I would put different points here, but stick with me here for a second. Now, in TBC, Moonkin form is super weird, and our attack power in Moonkin form is increased by 150% of our level. So that's going to be like around 100-ish attack power, right? Because we're going to be 150% of 70. I'm guessing that's what that means. Then this Predatory Strikes has another melee attack power bonus, giving us an additional 150% attack power in Moonkin form. Also super weird. Why the hell is that in here? So if we went like this weird Moonkin form build, and we get this Predatory Strikes, then you can even start getting real crazy and go down and put 5 points here into Naturalist that increases the physical damage that we deal by 10% in all forms. Moonkin is in one of those forms, right? And then you can, like, I mean, there's some weird stuff here. Like, I don't know with all these other points, but interesting enough, right? You can get Moonkin form, you can get Predatory Strikes, you can get Naturalist and Omen of Clarity. And I could see this build actually being a thing because you have 400% armor. You can cast Entangling Roots, Insect Swarm, Moonfire, all in Moonkin form. You're super tanky. And then if you're able to melee, the thing that I think this kind of weird playstyle though would be contingent on is if Moonfire resets your auto swing timer like it does in Classic, I don't think this will work. But I could see that not being the case in TBC. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's one of those things because even if it was one way on private servers, it could be something. It could be the opposite when TBC goes live. You know what I mean? There's no way of knowing. But imagine playing this kind of a build with it like a gear set similar to like the High Warlord gear in Classic, right? Where it's got like some spell power and then it also has like strength and agility. And like it has crit rating on both or whatever, where you're playing this kind of like hybrid gear style, so you can like be in Moonkin form casting spells or whatever, and then you can like go into bear and feral charge and bash, go back into Moonkin form, put your dots back up, be like hitting them with a mace, like the mace from the Cenarian rep, Exalted rep, right? That has like a bunch of armor on it. Like there's all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know if any of this is going to be viable at all, but the fact that this is even some kind of weird, I could see running this build as like a dungeon clearing build, right? And like going brambles. Like there's all kinds of weird fun stuff that you can see. And I think like that's the melee Moonkin setup is something I'm really eager to try because in Classic, you can almost kind of make it work. And we don't get any bonus in Moonkin form. And then you go into TBC and you start getting mana regen based off your attack power. You start getting attack power scaling into Moonkin form. And then you have like all these like Moonkin bonus attack power weapon things like staffs and maces and stuff that have like bonus attack power in Moonkin form. So I could see there legitimately being like a weird melee kin thing, you know? All right, what quest am I supposed to be doing over here? Slugs Ignition. Oh yeah, that's right. I got to get a key, and then we got to do the escape. That's right. That's right. It's been so long. It feels like since I've done these. Well, are any of you guys gonna be trying out the melee Moonkin build? The melee kin. That exalted Cenarian mace is gonna be. Dude, I can't wait to get that. Is Boomkin taking a thing? Kind of. So it for sure is a thing. For example, in Gruul's lair, there's one of the mobs that's like a hunter kind of mob, where you want to generate aggro from range, but it does physical damage back. And so you need to like be able to cast and get aggro, and then also have high armor, which Moonkin does. And so like that's an instance in like the raid that it was very common to have a balanced druid tank. That was like a thing people would actually like be looking for, like in trade chat. In dungeons, it for sure will also be a thing, because I could do it like right now in dungeons on my main, right? Like it exists in classic, and the main reason is you don't get like a threat modifier at all, but in general you deal really high threat. And the idea with Moonkin tanking and just in how it works and overall just generating threat is if you're initiating the pull, you are going to get a threat lead just, you know, by default. And basically people have to do, you know, more damage than you to get that threat lead. It's not going to be optimal, I don't think at all, but it's definitely something you could do. But we'll have to see. The thing that'll get really interesting is like our armor scaling is increasing in Moonkin form. There's a lot of things that are kind of catering to this weird, like exactly that build I just showed with all the weird attack power bonuses. Like one of the issues with Moonkin tanking is that after you kind of, you know, blow your load and you cast all your spells, you're either having to take spell pushback, which is kind of tough as far as being able to pull high threat while also, you know, getting spell pushback. But if we're getting a bunch of bonus attack power, you can basically keep dots up. Insect Swarm is another dot you can keep up while in Moonkin form, and then you could just be meleeing after your initial few casts to maintain threat. And if you have bonus attack power, your melees are going to hit for a significant amount of damage that, you know, you should be able to hold threat in a lot of situations. So I definitely could see it being a thing for sure. I think I was a little bit late. I think these guys just killed the homie. Who drops the key here? Supervisor. Supervisor, hello? You're going Warlock? It'll be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to I want these guys to ninja the tag. Just invite me. If you're gonna steal the tag, just invite me. Let's all get it together, ladies. Yeah, Warlock will be really fun. I do think Balanced Druid is... I think there will be some really interesting things we can come up with for Balanced Druids. I think Balanced Druid is one of those specs that was played, but it wasn't played enough to really fully flesh out a lot of the theory crafting with different builds, especially with weird stuff like this attack power Moonkin crap. And so I think there will be some really weird, unique, cool, kind of interesting stuff, specifically as it relates to Balanced Druids in TBC. I'm obviously a little bit biased in saying that, but I feel like if we're able to come up with so much weird stuff in Classic that was kind of not known before or not really fully fleshed out, I feel like the amount of stuff we'll be able to come up with in TBC is going to just be way more. Holy shit, I didn't know I could get up here. Warsong wall jumps, man. All that practice coming in handy. Plus you can proc clear casting. There's all, dude, and there's... I don't think these jerks are going to invite me. The other thing, too, is you can go 3 points in the Celestial Focus, and that makes your... damn it! Invite me, jerks! Get out of here, losers. Get out of here. Interlope. Internope. But you have that Celestial Focus one that also lets you take 70% less pushback on your Wrath cast. So like that also caters into this kind of playstyle where you could basically cast Wrath anytime you have like mobs on you. There's all kinds of cool stuff, man. It'll be really fun. I think we'll be able to come up with some really fun builds for TBC. That's the other reason I wanted to level up a second Druid, is that if I want to try and play a couple different things, like say I want to have like a Restocan and then I want to have like full balance, I don't want to have to be like respecking all the time, you know? Like I'm not worried about getting gear on 2 characters because I can basically just do like arena or PvP or whatever. I'm not worried about that part of the game at all. But like having to constantly respec back and forth would be really frustrating. Where if I could have like, okay, this is like my dungeon tanking Druid, and like, you know, we have friends and they need to go like want to run dungeons, I just log on that Druid. Or it's like, oh, I'm gonna go push arena rating, I don't have to go and like respec and do all that stuff. The other thing too is I legitimately have so much gear on my character that it's like trying to keep all the gear for trying out multiple specs and builds on one Druid is super overwhelming. I literally never have bag slots. So that's another idea. Another reason why. People call it Panzerkin. Panzerkin was the first guy that did it. Yeah, Panzerkin was like the original like guy that kind of came up with a lot of the like balanced Druid stuff. But my point is like that was like one guy, right? That was one guy that was able to kind of push the envelope and kind of come up with some cool creative stuff. When you have hundreds or thousands of people playing something that back in the day was not considered really strong or viable, or as viable as it is kind of known to be now, it's just totally different because you just have so many more perspectives and people's, you know, ideas that are potentially, you know, tweaking the spec and trying different things and thinking of things you never thought of. It's like he did a really good job coming up with a lot of really cool ideas, but he's only gonna be able to come up with so many things, you know? He's not gonna think of every possibility. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, man? Stream on Twitch? Dude, I got logged out of all of my Streamlabs. Like Streamlabs logged me out of everything. But we'll maybe hit the restream here pretty soon. If this guy steals my mob again, I'm gonna freak out. Is he really leaving his pet right there, or is he? No. Is this guy really not accepting my invite? If this guy tries to steal this mob, I'm ready. I'm ready. Nope. Too slow. Too slow, buddy. He has his pet like on stay right here, some shit. I don't know why he keeps doing that. Yeah, it was him and one other boomy. They were messing around with that. Yeah. Barkskin's much better too. It really is, because it basically does the same, right? But it like mitigates all damage instead of only physical, and it doesn't have like the cast time increase, right? Isn't that like what the difference is? This is pretty brutal that this quest. Oh, attack his pet. What? Are you kidding me? What is going on? Why are these guys attacking me? Does this guy have more than one spawn point or no? If he spawns below me and this hunter steals attack, I'm gonna be real grumpy. Is there somewhere we can find the add-ons that you're using? No. I don't have, I have like a UI add-on video that I did, but I don't have like a link or something to give you. I did a video because this isn't like a pre-done UI or whatever. It's just add-ons that I've used over the years that I've kind of like gravitated towards that I really like. Why would this guy not just accept my invite? Should we invite him again? Okay. Yeah, you can use it while CC'd. Oh yeah, that's right. You can use it while you're like stunned or whatever to help use it like a shield wall. That's right, that's right. Yeah, that's huge. That's really big. Dude, this is way more people. There's so many people leveling right now. This is so weird. It's so not normal to have 7 people run through this fucking zone. Should we invite this guy? I think I would still get the tag. Moonfire is pretty OP with stealing tags. Wow, what a brutal respawn time. It's the wrong guy. Got it. See, if I wasn't in a party with these guys, I still would have gotten it. Easy. Oh, you know what we gotta do? We gotta hurry. We gotta be the first one to turn it in. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Move speed enchant. These guys are gonna be so mad. I still need one more of these buckets. I accepted it, right? Yeah, the escape. Oh, this guy got it. The other guy, one of the guys didn't. Dude, I just need one more. Nice. We run back, I think, yeah. Sickly Gazelle. Do we do it? There it is, baby. Did you guys watch I think it was like the TBC, I don't know if it was like the deep dive or like what it was, but there was something where they were talking about TBC and that older woman, I can't remember her name. Is her name Molly? Anyway, one of the girls that works on the game had her like mic open and it was like ASMR. Did you guys catch that? It was so distracting to me. I was watching it and I was like cleaning and stuff around my place and I was just listening to it like I wasn't watching, and I kept hearing this like lip smacking sound, but I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is that? And then I turned on the stream and I was like, ew, dude. I don't want to listen to this lady smacking her mouth, and like it was just her mic. It was so weird. Her mic was like turned up so loud compared to everyone else, and like all the whole chat's like, mute her, mute her. It's so funny. Like what of all things, you think billion-dollar company, by the way, they can't figure out that they got someone smacking their lips the entire BlizzCon presentation thing that they're doing. It's like, oh god. Well, what's up, Bernie? Bernie, dude, it's been a long time. I feel like I haven't read that name in a while. How you been? Yeah, new Druid. We're level 17. This is Coachella, not to be confused with Coachella. So, you know, I just figure we, you know, keep it simple. This is like normal Coachella, but just way more edgy, you know? Way more, like this Coachella listens to like a lot more like kind of like badass music and stuff, you know? He's got like a bunch of posters on his wall. Probably been in a fist fight before in like middle school or something. The other Coachella is straight A student. Would never do such a thing. Yeah, we're gonna go, I'm gonna level all the way. This character's gonna go 1 to 60 as balance all the way. So it should be pretty fun. This is something I mentioned before, like I kind of had wish I had done this on my main, but I didn't really like, at the time, didn't really think I was going to be playing balance. I didn't know, I just was leveling. So I ended up playing as Pharaoh, but I, in hindsight, wish I had kind of gone through the leveling experience as balance just to kind of see and try it. So better late than never, you know? Okay, we got this one. We already have that done. Progress. Yeah, okay, we gotta go back over to Harpies. Okay, so we only need one more Gazelle. And I do need Raptors. I've been good, lost my comp back in October, waited until December, then built a new one. So I've been gone so long. Oh, well, hey, glad to hear you're back, man. Hopefully the new computer's doing well. I also ordered a new computer a while back, and my video card got, you know, lost in the mail or something. I don't know what the hell happened, but They basically have my computer when I ordered it, because I just ordered it like pre-built because so many parts were on back order. I was like, I'm just gonna order from one place and have them build it, and then like I don't have to stress about it, because everything was like 3 weeks out, or this piece is 6 weeks out, and it was just like I was like, okay, this is too hard to coordinate. And so I ordered it. It was like 3 or 4 weeks away from when I ordered it. And then, like 3 or 4 weeks rolls around and I'm like, hey, what's up? Where's my computer? And they're like, oh, sorry. Every video card in the world is on back order. And so it's going to be another 4 weeks until we can get it. Like, you can either downgrade and get like a shitty graphics card, or you can wait. And I was like, no, I'll just wait. Like, this computer is fine, but it's, 4 or 5 years old, I think, at this point. And so, like, you know what? Of all things for me to spend money on, I know I'm going to get use out of a computer, so whatever. So we'll see. I'm pretty amped. It's going to be a real beast. We're going to have all kinds of, what would I call them? Updates? Stream and video content creation improvements is what we'll call them. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of like ideas and stuff that I have of stuff that I want to do, especially for TBC, but I'm waiting until we get that new computer, because I don't want to set it all up on this computer and then have to like reset all of it up again. So we'll see, but soon to come. We're pretty close. That should be done. At this point, it should be here in like another 2 or 3 weeks. So it should be pretty close, but have some cool ideas. Balance is fun to level if you got gear. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I can buy, worst case, I buy a couple pieces. Like some spell power pieces. Like there's some good pieces. I know, like that Mage Weave helm, right? I think it's like level 45. Like there's certain like pieces along the way that are really, really good. And, so that's kind of my intent, is to do that kind of as we level, to help ease the process along. 1 to 60 is balance. I did that in phase 1. Took 15 days played. Jesus, that's a long time. I think it'll take me less than 15 days, but we'll see. I mean, honestly though, like classic leveling is such a different experience. Like I feel like in retail, I always am just trying to hurry and get through it as fast as possible. In classic, I feel differently, because it's like the world PvP in different parts as you're leveling is really fun. Just like the overall nostalgia and going through all the different zones and like how expansive the world feels is more enjoyable to me. It doesn't bug me. Leveling in retail is like more of a chore, and leveling in classic I enjoy a lot more. If Doge breaks 10 cents, I'll grab myself a new PC. Hey, we'll see, man. Market's in a little bit of a downtrend right now. Not gonna lie, it's been a little, been giving me a little anxiety the last few days. These 10-15% dips are hurting my heart. But we'll see, man. Anything's possible. I'm also leveling a Druid on Piggle, so here's my recommendation for Heart of the Wild Feral till 46. No way. We have to commit. We can't half-ass the Moonkin dream, man. I honestly don't even know like which of these is more impactful for leveling's sake. Heart of the Wild was actually the spec that I played like initially the first time going through. Do I need, which of these mobs am I trying to kill here? I need the Slayers. Okay. This quest is kind of, the like Harpy quests are kind of confusing, because you have to, there's specific mobs that drop specific things. So you'll sit here and like kill the rogue feather mobs and they don't drop what you need. So you just end up wasting a bunch of time. But yeah, Bernie, I did that to like kind of leveling up. Originally, I did Heart of the Wild was like kind of how I played. It was fun. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun, and it's a really good leveling spec in general, just because Feral's so strong and all that. But this one, we're committing to balance. We're going full balance all the way, and we're doing it live. You know, I don't know if I'll stream the entire leveling process, but my hope is to stream a lot of it, just to go through, like, do different dungeons and be able to do all that kind of stuff. I mean, we'll follow this guide, and you know, we'll see if I'm pretty exhausted. I might want to just kind of like zone out and level. But either way, I'm gonna try and turn the stream on as much as we can. I leveled my Boomy in phase 2. I think only through dungeons and randoms. Such a great experience. Boomies get so much love from everyone. They really do. They really do. The amount of people that give you really positive, you know, interactions versus the ones that are like a pain in the ass is like 9 to 1. It's like you definitely have some people that are cranky about it, but most people are really positive about it, you know. As Alliance, you run around so much, not having that movement speed sucks. Yeah, that's one thing I'm not looking forward to, is not having improved cat form. That's one thing that, like, I would really like to have, but I figure, you know what, it is what it is. We got to commit. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're committing 100% to the balanced dream, you know, the Boomy dream. Dude, these guys haven't dropped one thing that I need. We should probably turn on some game sound here. I usually have my sound like turned all the way off. Is this up? Yeah, you can kind of hear that, right? Have a guy in my guild that won't shut the fuck up about how druids suck. Dude, it's weird because I think it's very often is mage players that are those players. I've had a few mages really like be like oddly angry about me playing balanced druid, and they're all mages. Like, it's very weird. I don't know why that is. PNW, what's up, man? How you doing? You mean flavor of the month players? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I always just think it's such a weird reaction because it's like I never see, like, never have I ever in any game gone up and seen something like off meta and be like, oh, idiot, what are you doing? You know, like, I've never had that like reaction to that. So it's always so weird to me when people are like mean is the only way I can really even think to describe it. Like, mean to other players that are not playing cookie cutter like meta stuff. It's so odd to me that people are like that, but you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, like on our server too, it's a little different because like in Classic, right, you have kind of like the overall just community that exists, and you kind of know each other from, you know, trade chat or Ogrimmar or dungeons or raids, or like you just know, you know, kind of who people are and what guilds, how, you know, what guild does what and all this stuff. So it's like at this point, I don't get like, I get very little hate because I've like ranked with a big group of players, and I've raided with a bunch of like various guilds and different content, and like have made all kinds of friends in different guilds, and like everyone knows I'm balanced, you know, like all of the people that I play with, you know, a lot of the ranking community for PvP, like I did that all as balance. Like everyone just knows I'm like a Moonkin, right? So it's like it's no one has any other like weird expectation, like, oh my god, you're not a healer. So it's like that's one thing I think that's really cool, that I really love that part of Classic, because it's fun, man. It's fun, like recognizing actual character names and stuff is so unique to Classic. It doesn't exist at all in retail. Like run around Ogrimmar, you don't remember one name of someone you saw in Ogrimmar today on retail. Got a Moon Boy on Bigglesworth. I think Bigglesworth is a pretty popular server, isn't it? They must not want you in their group when you raid. Coach, the lost son is back at work. Guys, I didn't lose my way. I'm just mixing it up, you know? Retail, despite the fact that they're both World of Warcraft, Retail and Classic are two very, very different games, at least in like the way that I play them. The PvP in Retail is very fun, is very, very fast paced. Really, I would say in general requires a pretty high skill cap to do at high levels because of just how fast everything is. Classic and even in TBC is not like that. You know, it's much slower, but it's much more RPG. Like the community aspect, all those things are just so great in Classic and in I guess it's Classic TBC, Classic Vanilla and Classic TBC. But they're different, you know. They're different categories for me. Different categories. So we got to keep it fresh. We're going to be doing content for both. I'm really enjoying Shadowlands, but, you know, I'm also been enjoying kind of hopping on Classic and seeing, you know, all of the names. It's so funny. It's like I logged on and it's like on Classic, I have a lot of people, like not battle tag friends, but like people from the server, you know, like just different names of people on the server that are saved on my friends list. And it's always funny because you don't really realize until you log into Classic how much of a community aspect exists. You know, it's like I hop on for the first time in, you know, a month or so, however long it's been since I've been on Classic, and it's like the people from ranking up are like, hey, where you been? Like, how's it going? Like, it's just so funny, dude. It's like getting you know, all those people hitting you back up and stuff. It's pretty cool. I'm really excited for our server for TBC, because that same community aspect is definitely going to carry through. Like a lot of people from, you know, the first OG people on Herod before the transfers and everything, all the main guilds, like, you know, all of these core players are going to exist into TBC. And I think a lot of people on this server have like a lot of pride on Herod. You know, people love this server that are on this server, like a vast majority of them. After I played Boomy in Classic, I'm gonna play Smite Priest in TBC, huh? That actually sounds pretty fun. That's like kind of a thing, isn't it? I haven't looked up anything on Smite Priest, but I think that's kind of a thing. What's up, Nate? How you doing? Have to have a good name to be remembered. I mean, that's kind of it too, but like the other thing, like one thing like I would do all the time in like during Classic is like I would always go in front of the auction house and just dance like in Moonkin form when we weren't in raid. Like if I was just chilling, like talking to people, like, you know, in Classic there's a lot of times you're just on, you're not doing anything, you're just kind of hanging out in like one of the major cities. And so I just would go in front of the auction house and like just dance when I was hanging out in Ogremont. Like that was just, I don't know why that ended up being like one of the things I would do. And so it's just like little things like that where you kind of just, you know, people start to see you and you start to see people, and you rank up and group with the same people, or this group runs Anixia, whatever, every Sunday, and you run with them. And, you know, there's just a lot of little things like that where it's not any one specific thing. It's just that kind of community aspect just exists very prevalently in Classic, and it doesn't exist in retail. But that's one thing like we had talked about. Are any of you guys switching servers for TBC? Like we had talked about, you know, for TBC launch kind of, and we had kind of like briefly been like, you know, should we stay on Herod or... And then we kind of thought about it. I was like, we definitely need to stay on Herod, because Herod's going to be... Herod's, I think, is going to be one of the more exciting servers for TBC. There's a few of them I think will be really good, but I think a lot of people are going to switch off of Faralina. So I'm curious to see like how that server does. I think Bigglesworth will be great, because Bigglesworth in general is like a pretty poppin' server. At least I felt like it was from like a PvP perspective. Like we'd go against Bigglesworth premates all the time. Alchemy's Biz Profession for PvE for Mana Trink. Like in TBC? Oh, you're talking about the Alchemist Stone thing that gives you like more mana. It was very good. I actually do remember that, because my Shaman was Alchemy, and I remember getting that because that was like a big deal. It's hard to say. So if we look back, here's my guess. If we look back at original vanilla before Classic came out, and all of the speculation and stuff people talked about and thought was going to be the case, and thought how difficult this was going to be, and blah 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 blah, most of it was like very overestimated, right? Like how long fights were going to last, how difficult stuff was going to be. I think Nax was the closest to the hype. Like the difficulty people thought it was going to be, I would say Nax is on that kind of level. Everything else virtually just got steamrolled. So in TBC, the mana potion thing is a thing. Like that trinket does have value and is good. But how many people in TBC were really bad at their class compared to the amount of information that we have now? Like how much of the player base is going to be doing 15 or 20% more DPS on average than they did back in original TBC? And things like that really significantly change all of those kinds of things, because if the fight lasts a minute shorter and you don't need that extra like potion cooldown or whatever, then a lot of those kind of nuanced aspects don't have as much value. So compared to like original TBC, that I do remember that alchemy trinket thing was a big deal. The transmute mastery or potion mastery like specs for alchemy were also huge gold makers, because everyone wants those consumes, right? That's like in lieu of world buffs basically. So alchemy is an amazing profession for TBC period, but I could also see people min-maxing enough to where mana is not an issue, because fights are just not that long, or not as long as they were back in the day. But who knows? Who knows? It's all speculation, right? I mean, it's hard to really say at this point what's really going to be good or what's really going to be useful. It's all just kind of guessing. it's hard to know exactly like what values will carry over, and I mean, it happened with Classic. Like a lot of people said you couldn't raid as balanced Druid because you're just gonna go, you know, run out of mana every single fight. It's not gonna be possible. Not one video mentioned the value of downranking as a DPS, especially for balance. Like that was a huge thing. That was huge because you lost very little DPS for the amount of mana conservation that you gained. I can't mind either of those. And like things like that, like it's hard to know how much of that is really fleshed out in a lot of these videos, because in the more off meta specs, that's less and less common and less known kind of nuanced things that we're not going to know until we really start playing it, you know? Haven't played Classic in 9 months. I feel that it hasn't been that long for me, but we had a little hiatus. I think it was probably like 2 months maybe that I didn't log on to Classic. We were just playing retail, something like that. If you're more of a dad guild, it can be very viable. I mean, I'm basically in a dad guild, right? Not very many of us are actually dads, but as far as like our like level of seriousness, it's like we all are just people that have played the game for a long time, but we're not pushing like world first or anything. Dude, these are all not the mobs I need. Everyone in my friend group is swapping to Horde for TBC. Why are people swapping Horde? I'm a little worried that that's going to be the case where there, I mean, hopefully like that seal of, seal of blood change helps with that a little bit. But if they didn't do that seal of blood thing, I think that there was going to be so few Alliance players, because Horde was just going to, if you wanted to play Ret, Horde was just going to be head and shoulders above Alliance for Paladin from like a DPS perspective. But I really hope there's, you know, I don't know how much they're going to be able to manage it or deal with it with TBC launch, but that's one thing I really do hope we can get the servers to be as balanced from a faction population perspective, you know? That was one thing that was kind of disheartening. Like, it wasn't on our server, like my server, like for me it was fine. Shoot. For me it was fine, like the population on our server was good. It felt like the server felt alive, like people were always in different zones and it was fine. But it was sad seeing, you know, people on those certain servers and they go into Ironforge and there's like one person online or whatever those servers were that just were completely dead for certain factions. I hope there's some way they can mitigate that and have that not be an issue. I don't know if they're going to be able to or not, but hopefully that's not a problem. Yeah, we get a new client, so nothing's set in stone. Yeah, there's a lot of little things. I'm curious, have you guys saw that they're making some changes to leatherworking, but we don't know exactly what. Did you guys see that? I'm glad they're doing that because I did not want to have to go leatherworking. Oh shit. I did not want to have to go leatherworking, so we're gonna stay tailoring, engineering on our main. Tailoring, engineering. This guy is going to be herbalism and mining. Well, that was so weird. I don't know if you guys... Oh, I think it's a trash bag. There's some sound outside. I have no idea what it was. It was really weird. Any idea when we'll see pre-patch? I have no idea. I'm just guessing. I mean, I think they'll announce the timing of it here in the next couple 3 weeks, I would guess. But I think they're also like, there's a lot of hype around TBC right now, right? Like, I guarantee you the amount of people, you know, leveling and playing and logging into Classic the last 2 weeks is 3 times what it's been prior to BlizzCon, right? People are just excited about it, so I think they'll kind of try and drag out the hype from BlizzCon as much as possible, and then once it kind of starts dying down, they'll probably announce whenever the date is. I'm sure they already know roughly when they're launching it. I mean, that's one thing, right? Going into the like the re-release type stuff, right? Classic and TBC. It's not like they're having to design a new game. Like, they can pretty accurately forecast when it's going to release, and you can, you know, knock on wood, you know that it's going to be a relatively polished product when it comes out. You know what you're getting. So, you know, the biggest issue with Classic was they underestimated the amount of hype it was going to get, which is you should always overestimate. It was a really stupid mistake, but it's like Classic itself wasn't bad when it launched. It was just their capabilities of managing so many people was bad. And it's like it's a huge problem, but it has nothing to do with the actual quality of the game. TBC I think will be the same way, but I think TBC will be bigger than Classic. I think TBC is going to be more popular. I think TBC appealed to more people. I think currently right now it appeals to more people. A lot of the stuff that people didn't like about Classic is like not a thing in TBC, and there's a lot of pros to TBC that people are real excited about. I think it just appeals to like a much broader spectrum of people. Played on a 97% Alliance server? Jesus Christ. How to do everything with guildies? I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends too if you're playing PvE or PvP, right? Because I guess if you're playing a PvE server, then it being like all your faction is kind of irrelevant, because you can basically just never have PvP mode on anyway. It's the same thing. I guess I didn't think of it that way, but for me, I really like the world PvP aspect of the game. Even though I don't do it a ton, I like that, like, going out in the world, that threat exists of you getting killed by someone of the opposing faction. Like, I don't know, it just like makes it feel like it's a more immersive experience to me. I wouldn't dude, if I was Asmongold, I would not play on a PvP server. That was a really stupid mistake. But on all their parts, all the streamers play on a PvP server and then just get stream sniped every time they go to like a raid or anything, and then just bitch about getting stream sniped. It's like in hindsight, looking back, that you're like, that was a really stupid idea. Why did we roll on a PvP server as streamers? Speaking of the release date, what's your guess? I think it will be end of summer. I think it'll be like August, September, October, kind of like time frame. If I had to guess, Blizzard has a habit with doing stuff kind of around Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, that's a pretty common release date for a lot of like stuff in the past. But I hope it's sooner. Like, I would be ecstatic if they were going to release it, next week. But I think the way that they'll do it is they're going to really kind of make it a big whole like thing. It's going to kind of be this whole anticipated hype and all this stuff. So I imagine it's going to be like 6 months from now, something like that, if I had to guess. But it's hard to say, man. I don't know how intensive the process of what they're having to like recode or whatever they're having to do on like the back end to basically recreate it. I don't know how tedious that process is or how far along they are, But they said this year, so. We spend hours having alliance chase us around. I mean, dude, that stuff's so fun though. I like all that, man. That's the kind of shit you remember. You know what I mean? Like, those kind of weird experiences and stuff are the things that really stick with you, and are like Like, I remember this vividly. We had one time, so when BFA came out, as shitty as that expansion was just overall, when BFA came out, the first couple weeks, this was when you could go around and like kill players, and then you would like, if you killed enough players, you became an assassin, right? And you were like marked on the map. We were running around like as a group of like 20 of us, like all of our friends, just running around the world, like, you know, ganking, going into the alliance towns and ganking people and like doing everything we could, you know, to try and just kill players and like do all this stuff. I like vividly in my mind have like screenshots of running around those zones, you know, on my hunter and like disengaging out in the air and like finding someone and like harpooning down to the ground and like all kinds of crazy stuff we were doing as like a whole, you know, a whole group. Like all that world PvP stuff to me is just always so it's just kind of like ingrained into your mind, you know. Did we finish the Gazelle quest? I think I did that already, right? Yeah. So the only thing I need is raptors for the raptor horns. There's a fast progress private server coming out Sunday. Yeah, I mean, that's the only downside with the private server stuff, right? Is like the values are always kind of guessed. Especially on TBC, the fact that Blizzard's acknowledged they're tweaking some things. It's like I would, at this point for me, like I'm not interested in playing private servers. I'd rather spend that time prepping on actual classic and getting just to like experience it. Like now I know it's coming out, right? So trying to like fill that void doesn't really exist. It's like the anticipation of it actually officially re-releasing is enough to like keep me content until it actually, you know, goes live. I don't know if it's like just because like I'm on the West Coast, I don't know if it's because of where I'm at or what, but the private servers always are not smooth for me. Like there's always either like constant like 300 ms latency, or they like DC often. Like I can never get a private server that actually works, because most of them I think are based out of Europe because of the legalities of it, and I think it's just too far for me geographically to be able to get like a good connection. Did I get the title from it? I don't remember, honestly. Was it the title that was the one that was like kill 100 players in each zone and all that, and you got like the mount? I don't think I finished that. If it was, I think I got like most of the, I think I got like 3 of the 5 zones or whatever it was. I think I got most of it done, but I don't think I finished it. Teleport to Moonglade. Okay. TBC private servers are so awful. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I played on a server that was, I think it was like 5x experience or something. I don't know. It just, you know, I respect that people enjoy that stuff. It just always just doesn't, it's not real enough to me to keep me interested. You know what I mean? Like I'll play it for a little while and then I'm just like, I just kind of get over it. Dude, Furblog pouch? Dude, I forgot what I even had this. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. What did I even have this bound to? 50 mana every 3 seconds? Dude, this is going to be so OP. This is, you know what this is right here? This is the level 17 Moonkin Bis offhand. It's good they're tweaking. People forgot how imba TBC was. I'm very glad they're making some adjustments. I agree with you. I think a lot of people that was one mistake with Classic. There was a lot of stuff like that was like, no, we want it just how it was. And then it's like there's a lot of stuff that came out and everyone's like, oh, this sucks. Like, this is stupid, this is broken, blah blah blah. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to go swim in the lake? Here, let me pull this up. Get over there. I think I'm gonna. Do I take fall damage? What if I do this? Huh! The mace stun for arms warriors and the crafted mace. Dude, I remember that. I remember that being so scary, dude. You go up against arms warrior and they have the. What's it called? Stone Herald? Is that what it's called? The two-handed mace, the blacksmithing mace. You see that thing and it's all just like big and spiky. You're like, oh my god, dude, this guy's gonna just stun lock kill me. It was such a scary encounter. Dude, I need to move this quest thing. This is real. This is real bad the way that keeps going. I actually forgot what I have to do for this quest. Do I swim down here? Is it this? No, it says bobble container. Get some air. People are so hard for arena. I forgot how miserable it was getting into the meta meat grinder. Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think there will be some shifts in the TBC meta with how many people are playing it now and how much information we have now. Storm Herald stun into Cyclone. I mean, hey, we're going into TBC as arguably one of the best PvP specs or classes in the game. So I'm fine with it. Dude, do I need to like... Oh, there it is. Bubble container. So... I don't know. For us, like, I'm excited. I hope you guys are all excited because I think Druid in general, no matter what spec you want to play, it's like for as much crap as we got in Classic and, you know, as undertuned as we were by comparison to a lot of other specs and classes and stuff, TBC, we like really start to shine. You know, like we really like... We're really good. Just it's so annoying, dude. I hate when I get these work texts like right now. I'm like, why are you texting me right now? Friday 8 p.m. What do you want me to do about it? But yeah, like TBC is just I think is for Druid players and like all the hybrid classes. It's like, okay, you dealt with this for 12 months, for 16 months, 18 months. TBC comes out, it's like, okay, now this is your time. Here you go. Here's your custom tier sets with bonuses that actually affect you and stats that are itemized, actually good for your spec. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. No dampening. That's one thing I'm kind of worried about. I was reading a comment and someone was like, yeah, Resto Druid here. I remember one time in TBC, I had an arena game that lasted 6 hours. I'm like, holy shit, I don't know if I want to do arena, guys. I don't know if I want to do this quest. It's okay. We'll follow the guide. Usually it doesn't take you too far out of the way. I'm not really interested in getting aquatic form, though. Priest Rogue, War Pal. Yeah, I mean, that's why like I kind of want to just play a balanced Druid comp and not play like the Restokin build and not really worry about like if I lose 10% more games but I don't ever get stuck playing games over 10 minutes long, like I'd be okay with that. You know what I mean? Like I would rather lose more games if all of my games were half as long. Like, cause you just overall get more games and it just doesn't feel so brutal and so monotonous. I don't want to get stuck in 45-minute arena games. That doesn't sound enjoyable at all. Let's buy some more water. Shit this a bunch of times. I feel like I clicked it way... Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, I feel like I clicked it way more times than that. Deep moss eggs. Oh, okay, we gotta grab a couple more other quests here real quick. My Boomy will be promoted to the Tryhard Guild. It'll be fun, man. I think Balanced Druid is gonna be something that people. It was weird because for me, at least on this server, it felt like Balanced Druid was actually kind of desired a lot at the beginning by a lot of guilds. There was a bunch of probably 5 or 6 different guilds or people that hit me up. Sorry guys, my neck is all messed up, so I keep having to turn around like an idiot and like having my all stiff looking. Deep moss eggs. Okay, and then we go to Guns of Northwatch. Oh, was I supposed to finish this? No. Oh no! How's our quest log full? Dude, how is my quest log full? I'll have to come back. Try and help me remember the Deep Moss Eggs quest we need to get. Unpopular opinion, you have to have played Balancing Classic to play TBC. You need to feel the pain. Hey, I would somewhat actually agree with that. I mean, put it this way, like if I see people that I know were balanced druids, which is only like 3 on our server, right, that played balance in classic, when I see them in TBC, you're gonna have a lot more respect for those people than you will people that aren't in that boat, you know? I remember the first arena tourneys where they even had RMP mirror matches go for more than 30 minutes. Jesus. Yeah. First time WoW saw true diversity in raiding. Saw Arms Warriors with their unique 4% buff. I know, I remember that. So raids weren't hard stacking Fury Warriors and mages. Yeah, I'm excited for that in general. I think that's just such a much more just enjoyable way to play, in my opinion. Like, I like having all different kinds of specs where it's like you could have a warrior and he could be Fury, he could be Arms. Like, I like that it's not everyone's playing the same stupid spec. You're still gonna have guilds though. You're gonna have guilds and people that are just running a bunch of the same top DPS class trying to like speedrun stuff, and that's fine, but you know, hopefully more guilds are more mellow about it, you know. This Guns of Northwatch quest can be kind of a pain in the ass. There are discussions if you even drop the whole melee buffs just to focus on spellcasters. Dude, I'm telling you, there's gonna be so much of the theory crafting stuff that was stuff that didn't really get thoroughly tested in actual TBC. Oh my god, these guys silence. That's gonna be so annoying. Dude. Just have to bear form my way through this place. But I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of that kind of stuff that will emerge. Like 100%. You'll have like weird caster cleave groups. You're gonna have like, you know, weird melee stack group situations that'll happen that are gonna be real strong. Like, it'll be cool. I think it'll be fun. I'm really excited too, because for me, like, so our group, like, I could play basically anything I wanted, but it obviously doesn't feel good playing a spec and not being able to like ever top DPS. I don't like that. Like, I want to be able to like compete and perform well and, you know, have fights where you're topping the meters and stuff, and that's just very, very, very difficult to do as balanced in Classic. I think in TBC it will be something that we will be able to pull off, at least in some fights and in some situations. What's up, lady? By this guy's like Chinese spam. I'm guessing he doesn't know what I'm saying. Body pull this guy. Body pull two of them. I see WoW Classic, I click. Hey, I'm sure you're not the only one. This quest is worth grouping up with everyone because the respawn of each tower, because the respawns are really long on the guys inside the towers. Here. I think I wasn't inviting him. So this quest is really worth grouping up, because if, like, for example, these two guys ran ahead of us, the guy that's at the top of this tower, it's like a 10-minute respawn. So if you miss it, it really sucks. I don't know where that guy's going. Where are you going? We get dungeon sets right away too, dude. We get all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff, man. There's some of the quest rewards are like very good, right? The different like spell power trinkets and stuff. Some of the various dungeon gear, the rep gear. I don't know where they're going. Well, we passed two. We'll see. This guy doesn't speak English, so I don't know that he really knows what I'm typing. Okay. Also on P6. Melee melee will catch up, so the meta in Sun will be very different from the phases before. Yeah, I remember that because there's like a lot of really good crafted gear and stuff that comes out in Sunwell too, right? I remember specifically there were some leather gloves that were just insanely strong on like every single melee. Like we had an in-hand shaman that was wanting to get him. You had like rogues doing all kinds of crazy stuff to try and get him. There was like so we were a horde and there was an alliance. I think it was a rogue, alliance rogue, that got the recipe, and people would have to use the neutral auction house and like communicate cross servers. And mind you, this was before like Discord and like servers had Discords and stuff. Like it was all like much more difficult to communicate across faction. Like you had to get way more creative with it, and it was much more difficult to coordinate that. And people from Horde were having like give gold to the alliance dude, which is like the only person on our server that had the recipe to craft these like bisque gloves. You know, it's like, and they were super, super good. Tier 6, I mean, I got you, yeah. That whole, I mean, all of that, the Black Temple and the Sunwell stuff and like the really good craftable stuff out of Sunwell, like all that stuff is huge for a lot of specs. Dude, you know what I'm excited for is, have you guys seen the Tier 6 set bonuses for Balanced Druid? Have you guys looked this up? I have a serious spec question. Yeah, Bernie, hit me. Go. Let's hear it. Dude, the set bonus for Tier 6, the 4-piece set bonus is 5% crit to your Starfire. 5% crit to your Starfire. You know how insane that's gonna be? On top of like all the other crit and stuff you're gonna get from your gear, 5% crit on Starfire is gonna feel so good. Just getting like Nature Grace procs over and over and over and over again. Oh my god. Like, I'm not as interested in the raiding as I am in trying to do the PvP. Like, at least me right now thinking it, I can see getting into the PvP and being like, certain classes are really broken or strong, or certain things are really frustrating. I'm excited for both the raiding and the PvP, but like reading that set bonus, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna kill Black Temple so hard for that set bonus. The 2-piece is actually good too. I can't remember what it is, but I remember seeing that 5% crit. I was like, holy shit. Just gonna need some water or some mana. Don't worry, guys. I got it. Big bear tank over here. No big deal. Jesus Christ. Here's a little 17. He just like insta-killed that thing. So we do this, and then we run up north. We go over here, sorry, west. Finish our raptor quest. This guy, what is this guy doing? This guy's running just like the most ridiculous route. Like, I literally tried to go in here as we ran by it, and he's like, nope, let's go past it. When we're gonna come back, we'll backtrack over to here. I'll leave the party and try and solo all this. For leveling and gearing, what do you think of not taking Moonkin form and taking enough points into Resto to get Nature Swiftness? It's very, very viable to do that. Very, very viable to do that. Restokin is a strong build, period. What the hell is this? Oh, quest log. My quest's full? No, I don't want to do that. And the fact that we can get Moonkin form and Nature Swiftness later on is huge. Are these guys leaving me? So it's definitely an option. The thing is, important to know is that nature swiftness still works the same where it's nature spells. So you can't like Starfire, nature swiftness, Starfire or anything like that. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing that setup, right? 5% crit is a lot. You know, 3% crit is a lot. If you're talking about just straight up DPS values while questing, that's going to be noticeable. Um, 400 armor is also, or 400% armor is really significant too for just ease of leveling, but it depends on what you're gonna do leveling wise. So I think, like I mentioned that last video I did, I anticipate on leveling at least the first 4 or 5 levels just by dungeons. So if that's the case, I don't anticipate needing nature swiftness really at all, because I think we're going to be like, it's going to be our, you know, part of our core group of guildies. Everyone's got pretty good gear going into TBC. Everyone knows how to play their class. I don't anticipate the dungeons being particularly difficult. And so, so for that reason, I don't think, like, I'm not worried at all. If I spec full balance, I'm not worried about still being able to heal dungeons totally fine. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like, for me that it would make sense to try and take nature swiftness given the way that I'm going to level initially. But if you're just like going to do quests and that's kind of your game plan, there's nothing wrong with it, dude. It's great. I mean, the other thing that's really solid too is you can get points into, it's not called reflection anymore, but whatever the equivalent is, right? The mana regen in resto. And it's actually more than it is in classic. In classic, it's 15%, right? 5% per points. In TBC, oh, that's not what I meant to click. In TBC, it's 30%. It's 10% per point. So this talent is twice as strong for like in combat regen. Oh my god, dude, that silence is the worst. Oh. Oh, dude, I was so confused. I was like, wait, where's the mob? This is the guy I was trying to kill. I thought it was that caster. Oh, thank God. Oh God, so close. I was so confused. I was like, wait, where's the mob? That was scary. We'll mana up and then we'll run down. Be playing Fire Mage. I'm sure Fire Mage will be really fun too. You get Dragon's Breath, right? That's like the bottom talent, isn't it? Crit bonus will be more important in TBC since we lose world buffs. We're also, I mean, but we also gain that 4% hit from talents, which is huge, right? We're going to get that bonus spell power, the bonus regen, like all of the things that we were kind of slacking on from like just the way, you know, our kit was. We get a lot of that back, or, you know, not back, but we get a lot of that value in. Why are these guys attacking me? Are you kidding me? They were chasing him. But so we get a lot of value in general. So, and the other thing is like we scale pretty good with crit, but the fact that we could never get hit capped while other classes could, and they could get like 30% crit, I think it evens the playing field a lot. So we'll have to see, man. I'm eager to see how all that ends up playing out. Intensity is the new reflection. Yeah, intensity, but it's twice as strong, which is pretty crazy because you can go the PvE build, right? Here, I can do it right here. I think it's probably safe here. So like you can go like this, this doesn't matter. And you go 3 points here, right? And then like you can have improved fairy fire. This gets you to level 68. So you could still pick up like, you have a lot of options, right? You could even go like Treants and Omen of Clarity. Like if you end up meleeing at all, if that's like a thing. You go Treants, I mean, but either way you can get this 30%, then you get this 10% of your int to regen. And then this is 30% of your mana to continue regenerating while casting. Like this is gonna be like the go-to raid setup, right? With a couple of points you can kind of mix and match. But we'll have the same situation, honestly, I think, in a lot of ways where you could put 5 points into Naturalist, right? That's like the new improved healing touch. And if you have those other talents, like you'll be able to heal fine. Like you're obviously gonna heal better if you're full resto, just because Swift Mend is better, Tree of Life is super strong. Like there's all kinds of really powerful talents for healing. But as far as being able to heal, if you're running like that PvE build, you'll be able to heal just fine. I think we need stolen silver too, don't I? Yeah, we do. I don't need that copper vein. We're way more spirit in TBC. Yeah, that's true. So we gain. You're saying like we gain more value from those talents. Is your point? Yeah, for sure. Seeing for this Druid now, not TBC, just to give flexibility in healing DPSing. Yeah, Moonkin form in Classic is not like make or break to playing balance. Like I was thinking about on my on like my main going like Moonglow spec right now, just because if I want to do like Nax or anything before TBC comes out, it'll be a lot easier for me to get groups as a healer. And so if I play like Moonglow, I can still basically like do like PvP type stuff that I want to. Where's the little stolen silver thing? And then you can still heal really well. So I was thinking about doing that as well. Like Moonglow, Nature Swiftness kind of build. You can still I mean, the thing is you're really only gaining 3% crit for Moonkin form, and Moon Fury is good, but it's not huge because it's only base spell damage. So it's like, I did a video on it, I think, right? The value is like around probably like 35 spell power, something like that. I mean, it's like something, but it's not like, oh, it's just so OP, you really need to be full balance. Like if, for the sake of finishing out Classic and wanting the flexibility to heal, like the Moonglow type spec is totally fine. Totally fine. Dude, where is this stupid thing? We're looking for like the little box. Am I missing it? Usually it's like right here. I think this guy's gonna aggro. Yeah, he is. Look at that. Preemptive roots. Let's go. Kind of sucks, dude. Rank 1 roots last for like 3 seconds. Yeah, so the mana regen gets better. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, we end up using a lot more spirit just in general. Yeah, it's a good point. does classic like in TBC, does mage still, like, is fire still strong in PvP because of like all the spell school kicking stuff, right? Like, because in retail, fire is good because if you get kicked on fire, you can like Ring of Frost, and that's frost, and then if you get kicked on that, you can still poly, and that's arcane. Like, you have the 3 spell schools. Does that still work like that in TBC? Do you know, Nate? Yeah, I was looking at Moonglow just to get into pug raids. I mean, dude, I'm like diehard Moonkin, and I think I'm gonna do that same thing too. So I would if you're trying to do raids and you want to do raids, it is going to be very hard to get groups as like balance. If you're playing with like your guild, right, like you're playing with your same group, it's a different deal. But if you're trying to pug stuff, the other thing too is like I don't really have as much fun DPSing when I'm pugging. Like, maybe that's just me, but like I just don't have as much fun doing it because I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff that can go wrong. Like if stuff is like sloppy, it's a lot more difficult as balanced Druid, I feel like. Because it's like one weird thing happens and you end up like completely going out of mana, and the fight's not fun, or you have to spend like a shitload of gold on mana potions, and like that's not fun. Oh, it's here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that too, because I messaged some buddies from some other guilds, because like our guild, I don't even think anyone's on. Yeah, see, no one's on right now. Our guild, everyone's still kind of like chilling. Like, people are excited for TBC, but they're not on right now. Like, I'm real like ready and getting prepped for TBC. Most people are kind of just waiting for pre-patch or whatever. But I really would like to clear Nax before pre-patch goes live. That's kind of like one of my goals. Like, I never really cleared Nax back in the day, and I would really like to do that. So I messaged some buddies in some other guilds that are, you know, either full clearing it or, you know, progressing through it right now. And I was like, look, I'm fine as coming as a healer. Like, I don't even want any gear. Like, I just want to see the fights and like get to experience the raid, you know, in classic. If you guys need a healer, like, let me know. So it's very likely that I probably try and do a full clear on Nax, and more than likely I'm going to be doing it as heals. I'll be full balance for leveling. Like that video I did about leveling, that's the spec I will play for like leveling up. But as far as like the spec, I feel like for healing in Nax is kind of significant. Nax would not be content. I would be trying to heal, not spec'd well to heal. Like, you're just going to be pretty heavy, and Nax is a pretty difficult, you know, pretty difficult raid, all things considered. Guys, we're out of wine. Has anyone else been drinking wine? I feel like quarantine has turned me into like an alcoholic. I feel like I end up just drinking so much more, just casually, just hanging out drinking after quarantine. I've also I've always liked red wine, but I've started to like it more the last like 3 or 4 months. Red wine if we're feeling fancy, or whiskey if we're trying to get crazy. I actually like sipping whiskey too. Whiskey can be good. Whiskey can be really good to sip. Okay, raptor eggs. We need to do Lost in Battle. And then we need a Storm Snout. Okay, dude, the thing, you know what I love about following this quest guide is that you get done and you have like complete. Like so many quests to turn in. Feels so good. I don't think we're going to be able to pick up the Deep Moss Eggs quest though. I think we're going to be a little SOL on that one. Bernie, you haven't rated at all? Like in any of the tiers? Like any of the phases, you've rated 0? It's not that bad, okay? I'm not actually an alcoholic. I was just joking. No, I don't actually drink that much. I'm pretty, that kind of stuff has never been really too tough for me. Like, drugs, alcohol, that kind of stuff has never been, like, tempting to the point of, like, I know I've had plenty of friends that have struggled with all that and just, like, always just get super hammered or go, like, you know, just go way too hard all the time or don't have any self-control. Usually I'm pretty good. The biggest thing, honestly, for me right now is not having a gym. Like the gym at my place, there's a gym like at my house, like in one of the common areas. They have a gym, but they closed it down because of COVID. And there's no other gyms that are like close by where I'm at. So it's like I know I'm not gonna drive 25 minutes to go work out and then drive back. Like I'm not gonna spend an hour and a half, 2 hours just to go work out. Like that's just too. I know myself. I'm not gonna stick with that. And it's like not having that workout is a big deal to me. It's like I'm a very habitual person, right? It's like I need that routine. I need that repetition each day. It's like, okay, I come home from work. It's like before we start doing anything, like let's go hit the gym, and the gym's closed, and it's like, well, I guess I'll just start gaming. I don't know. I can tell you a week. Yeah, I'm curious if that works like that for in TBC with the mages interrupt and stuff, like it does in retail. It'll be a big deal because that's a huge part of why fire is so strong and so prominent in PvP right now is because of the 3 spell schools. And people now are very aware of that, right? Like that's a big part of being a mage in retail. So you know people are going to be very aware of that come TBC if that exists like that. I think it does. I think it will interact the same, but we'll have to see. It's good to hear you say about Moonglow. Don't feel like I'm abandoning my boomy brothers. Yeah, it's it'll be fine. I mean, honestly, the full Moonkin setup, like the PvP spec that I play is not really optimal in a lot of situations when we're talking about like actual PvP. Like the nature swiftness setup generally is gonna perform like better more consistently. I just really like that playstyle and I was able to like make it work and have gotten kind of used to it to where it's just like that playstyle is so kind of like second nature to me. But I don't think it's necessarily like the best. It's just different. It's just its own way of playing. But nature swiftness has so many use cases in PvP. It's not hard to justify or to validate like the value of nature swiftness as just being such a strong cooldown. Never stepped foot in a raiding classic, not one. Dude, that's crazy to me. That's crazy that you've never done one raid, so you haven't killed Rag, you haven't done any of that stuff in classic at all. Like, what do you do for gear? You just dance in front of the auction house too? Left at the beginning of phase 3 because of burnout. I feel that. That is one thing with classic is it's very grindy. You have to like every part of it's grindy, right? The raids are even kind of grindy. The PvP stuff is all grindy. Leveling kind of can feel grindy at times. Like you have to kind of be in that in that mindset to really want to do the content. Otherwise it can feel pretty monotonous. I'm a real boomy. I never casted Nature Swiftness ever in my life. Dude, I'm in that same boat, I think. I played Nature Swiftness, I think when I played Heart of the Wild. And I think I tried it for a little bit with some kind of like balance setup. But I never played it with enough regularity to ever get like comfortable with that spell at all. You know, it's like half the time I would die and I would still have it off cooldown. Like I totally forgot to like use it. I forgot I even had it or whatever. Dude, it's so funny. I remember like early on, there's parts of like early on in the game where people like other druids were talking shit to me for being spec balanced, like for not having Nature Swiftness. They're like, dude, it's so bad. Like, you're so bad, jerk. Okay, this will be kind of tough here. We need to find... He's usually up here. Ow. Guys, my neck is so sore. I also like found like a spot on my back that I think is like the knot causing my neck to hurt. You know what I mean? When you like push on a spot, you're like, ooh. Ah, yeah, that's it. That's it. Ow! Damn, where is this guy? I feel like he's usually right over here. Oh, we got him. Oh. Okay, this is kind of hard. I remember this as being kind of tough. Oh, shit. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to root him. Don't aggro me. Oh, there's another guy right there. Okay, we're going to root him, and we're going to kill the little guys. I get to the point where I need to raid on my character and I call it a day. Yeah, it's hard to get to the point where I can commit to raiding. I feel that. I mean, I get it. Like, I'm all about, like, having alts and playing character, like, multiple characters and stuff. Like, I get that. I also, like, retail right now is the first time I've ever really not raided very much in an expansion. At least, like, initially in the first raid tier. And it's actually kind of nice, because if you don't really need the gear, like right now you can get like PvP for the gear in retail. If you don't really need the gear, it's kind of nice not having that time commitment where you have to log on and raid. So, I mean, I get it. Hating Classic is real, made by Smite Priest, and people today refuse, for the most part, to bring me to 20-man pugs. You're you're playing a Smite Priest right now in Classic as well. I don't think I was supposed to pick up Miner's Fortune yet. I think this one I was supposed to wait on. All right, all we need to do is turn this quest in. We don't accept the next one, and then we fly over to Orgrimmar. No workout clouds my mind. Yeah, I feel that. There's definitely like a certain amount of obviously like physically it impacts me, but there's a certain amount of I don't really know how to describe it. It's like I kind of need that like the physical like exertion to be able to sleep well. A lot of times like if I don't have that in some capacity, it's kind of hard for me to like wear myself out enough to get real sleepy and like to sleep well at night. I feel the same too. It just like you feel like you're like kind of like in a funk. Kind of just doesn't. I really don't like not having access to the gym. It's not even like you gotta work out like 6 days a week. It's like just to go and work out like 3 or 4 days a week. All right. On that note, time to grab some more wine. You're like, oh, I can't work out. I guess I'll just drink some more wine. I gotta pick between the two. One thing that happens all the time, like I'm doing right now, one thing that happens all the time when I'm leveling is I forget that I have talent points to spend. I'm gonna put 3 points in natural shapeshifter because I feel like that's more impactful. Pick that up. We pick up Hamul, I think. Yeah, Hamul. I think that's everything. Okay, if we go back to Ratchet, we need to remember to grab the Moss quest. Alt's buying bags, man. Selling a couple of bags there, a few gold a pop. Let's go, baby. Riley, do we have that quest? Riley something. Riley Greasy Bop. This one, yeah, we do. Greasy Gob. Greasy Bop. Ow. Guys, I'm getting old. I feel like my like right side is like it's like out of commission. This should be pretty easy. Okay, so we gotta go. Here's the plan. We fly to Ogremar, right? Flying to Ogremar. We go turn in this quest over here, grab this, then we run out here on the outside. And then we go up, we do our sea lion quest, we grab the box here. And we also do all the camouflage, whatever the hell this quest is called. I always have called this camouflage. I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce that, but then we do those and then we run back over to Crossroads and then fly to Thunderbluff. Gotta drink more wine and whiskey to sleep then? Yeah, exactly. It's kind of true, honestly. Like, not in like a get drunk kind of way, but just to like help kind of like calm down. The problem I always have when I go to sleep is like my mind will start. I just start thinking of stuff. Like I'll start thinking of ideas. It's kind of weird, but I will theory craft a lot in my head before I go to sleep. So I'll sit there and like think through like play styles and builds and stuff. It's super weird. I always do this with any game I'm playing at the time. I'll always like when I was playing League, I'd go through and think of like different like builds in League, and it's just like that's like a very like common thing for me to do when I'm sleeping is I'll like start thinking about games and I start kind of like theory crafting stuff while I'm going to bed. So it gets hard for me to sleep then because I start thinking and then I'll get like excited about some new build idea or something that I'm thinking about, and then it's like gets even harder for me to go to sleep. So it's like drinking a little bit kind of just helps calm me down, you know, enough to be able to pass out. I should probably vendor here. I was gonna try and sell these copper bars, but I mean, I probably should, right? Because it's probably, I mean, it's like how much does a couple gold matter, though? I feel like it's not really worth wasting the time.
What can I help you with?
Some of this stuff sells pretty good though. Like Swift Thistle's like a gold a pop. Like that's 5 gold right there. I mean, at least 4 gold, right? An Ani buff would be real nice. Where is this guy? Oh, he's over here. It's him right here.
Yeah, what do you want?
Boom, look at that. 30 armor, baby. I think I'll end up using this for probably quite a while. At least to have as like a tank piece. Pretty good for like the lower level tanking, right? 30 armor offhand. What weapon is this guy using? Is it a twink? Druid with Ardent Custodian, huh? That's kind of interesting. So he just goes into bear form and he's getting that 100 armor. That's probably pretty beefy. It's a cool idea. Cool idea. I feel like that wouldn't be that fun to like be a 39 twink and have to like bear form people to death. Yeah, we'll run this way. Dude, getting the movement speed enchant on boots like early on is so clutch. There isn't much to raid lately, almost zero incentive to mythic raid. I mean, that's kind of how I feel. Like, that's why when I told those guys, like in retail, I was like, because we had like, I think around 25 or so people that were raiding, and you need 20 for mythic, right? It's 20, isn't it? We had like a few too many people, and I was like, guys, like I'm fine not raiding. Like, I don't really care to see like the mythic fights. Like, I'm getting better gear from PvP anyway. Like, whoa, what is this? What is that sword? I'm gonna inspect him. But I mean, it would be really cool to be able to get my full tier 3 right now. Like, I would go resto and do Nax just to get the full tier 3, but it's also pretty expensive. Like, the mats are serious, right? It's like it's the mats and all the consumes to go to every raid and the time commitment and all of that. It's like, especially with TBC coming out for sure, it's like, I don't know if I want to spend the gold on that, really. That's not really worth it to me. I'd rather just have the gold and get my flying mount instantly in TBC rather than have tier 3 for the rest of classic. It's like, what, like, I don't want to heal in TBC, so it's not valuable at all. Should we world star these guys? Oh, dude, this guy's full tier 3 with the corrupted Ashbringer. Jesus Christ, man. Come on, go outside. Come on, man. World star him. See ya. What's up, Davey? What's up, girl? Look, see how much faster this is basically like a Prius, and this is a Ferrari right here. You see this? You can't even keep up with me. Boom, he just gave up. Yeah, Davey, get out of here. Alright. Turn on Stream Beats Hip Hop. That lo-fi stuff, is it lo-fi? Lo-fi. Lo-fi stuff gets me too tired. Sleepy music. It's funny that we have like very few people playing right now. Some of the guys are doing arena, it looks like. Comes to low level items, only a few stats. Some people can't see how good they really are. Why is this having me? Oh, that's right. It's having, I was like, why is it having me do this first and then go back in here? It's because it wants you to die in the cave. I remember that. because you go really far into this cave and then it's a pain in the ass to get back out, and so you just die in the cave and then you just end up at crossroads. For example, I'm not sure Nax is just the best classic raid. I don't really rate it because I need to. I just want to be there. I feel that. I feel that. It's like the first like actually difficult raid with like a good amount of mechanics and stuff going on in that. I feel that for sure. I'm not opposed to raiding Nax. I was just saying, like, from a gearing perspective, it's the investment of actually paying for the tier 3, like getting the mats to craft the tier 3 is not really worth it at this point to me. It would be cool to be full tier 3. That would be cool. That would be like an accomplishment to me. But at this point, it's not worth it because I feel like I've already kind of missed the window to where I'd even be able to really like utilize it well. And I'd rather just have the gold, straight gold, just going into TBC. You can like save up the gold, clone your toon to a fresh server, and then go and gold for getting a gold for Mountain Gear. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to actually put the bank gold on Coach on my main, and then I'm going to clone him. So I'll have a character in Classic with a bunch of gold, and then I'll have a character in TBC with a bunch of gold. And then I'll split the gold back out in TBC, like for our guild gold. But that way I can basically take it to Classic and, I can get tier 3. I intend on doing that, man. Like I do at some point want to basically, because I have like my high warlord gear and all that, right? I want to get like a full feral set in Classic. And what the hell am I looking for? Strange lockbox. I want to get my full feral set, and I want to get like a full tier 3 resto set. Like those are things I would like to do over Classic. I don't want to do them on this server before TBC goes live, but those are things I could see like after the initial hype of TBC kind of wears off. Is this all I need? Or is this only one of them? Just one, right? And then I have to get the other half from like the other half of the world. Somewhere super far away and inconvenient. Lost internet as I pulled a mob. Pretty sure I'm logging into a gray screen. Oh no, dude. That's unfortunate. There'll be a point where leather scraps will drop hard. We almost saturated by now. All mains have all the scraps. They should drop pretty hard soon. You lost me a little bit there. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Are you talking about the price of the stuff for tier 3? I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that is not, it's not like crazy expensive. It's just at this point it would just be spending gold on stuff for nostalgia's sake or like keepsake, and I'd rather just have the gold. But I do plan on going back into to like the legacy servers. I think that's what they're gonna call them, right? The legacy servers, and try and get like full tier 3 in the legacy servers. I think it'd be pretty fun. Be like a super OP healer druid. It'd be fun to try the full tier 3 in PvP and see how it does. Like I don't know if it would. I could still see it being not fun. Like you just get like insta killed by a rogue or like stun locked, and like you have like all this amazing gear and you can't really still do anything. But I want to try it. I'm at tier 3 mats. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. I know what you mean. I had 55 of those refined deep rock salts on my hunter that I'd made over the course of Classic, like for basically the tier 3 stuff. And then I sold them all. like this last week. Ow, dude. Let's clear around the left side. We need Miner's Fortune and the manual. The manual is from the last guy. We have to like clear all the way down through this little tunnel that's right there. My Boomy and my Rogue will go to Legacy. I mean, dude, that's the thing, like, on my main, right? Like, we got the full rank 13 PvP gear. I have, like, very, very good Boomkin PvE DPS gear. Like, as much as I am super excited for TBC, like, I want to be able to basically, like, seal that time investment that I spent getting all that stuff, you know what I mean? And like accumulating that gear and be able to, you know, I don't think in the next year it's something that's gonna be super relevant, but I can see in like 2 or 3 years really wanting to go back and like go through Nax and like push Nax and get full tier 3 and all that kind of stuff. I can see that being like a real, you know, a real thing that would be really fun to go back and do, you know, later after kind of some of the classic and the TBC hype kind of wears off a little bit. Like I think that'll be a very real thing that a lot of people want to go back and do. Rogue has Gressel. What's Gressel? Boomy's almost Biss. I mean, that's one thing I do want to do, right? I want to get like the full Boomy Biss at some point. It's one of those things you know, our squad kind of, for Classic, just kind of fell apart in the sense that everyone started playing retail. So we just didn't have a full 40. If we had kept a full 40, I mean, honestly, if Blizzard had released Shadowlands 6 weeks later, we would have full cleared Nax, I think. I mean, I feel pretty confident in that. Like, a big part of why we didn't clear it was just because of the timing with Shadowlands, and everyone was just, you know, excited to play Shadowlands too. Not even everyone, but like 20 people, 20, 25 people from our, you know, our core raid group. And so it just, you can't run Nax with less than 40 really, at least initially on progression was tough. Oh, Gressel's the main hand sword from KT? You have that on your Rogue? There'll be community there over time. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I'm looking at it more like big picture. Like, I once TBC comes out, I don't imagine I'm gonna log into Classic for a year, probably, right? But after that like wears off, I think it's very, very likely that there are, you know, a month here, 2 months here, like that I'll go back into Classic and you know, find a guild and raid and do all that kind of stuff like back in Classic. 100%. Oh, I thought I bear stunned him right there, but I didn't. Oh no. This is kind of bad. Bear form. Bear form. Why is he missing a bunch? What the hell? Drink one of these little mana potion boys. Dude, this cave's dangerous, man. If this was hardcore, you gotta really be careful in here. Nax and Shadowlands at once was the most stupid thing Blizzard did since Diablo Immortal. I agree. It was really dumb because they didn't benefit from it. Like, they shot themselves in the foot. Because not everyone, but a lot of people would play both. They could have easily maximized their, active player base by spreading it out, even if it was just a month. Giving it another 4 weeks to get through Nax. If people got to where they were really close to killing KT when Shadowlands came out, people would stick to playing Classic, at least to raid log, to get KT down, right? Like, if you gave people enough time to kind of get the ball rolling and get into the raid, 100% they would have, played it in its entirety. Or at least a lot of people would have gotten their fix, It was real stupid. Save DKP for the sword since BWL. Hey, well, good for you, man. That's one pro about the DKP system is you can, like, log those hours and save up for one big ticket item like that. .9.1 and TBC are looking to release close to each other too. Yeah, I mean, they don't need to be super far apart. If they're just like 4 or 6 weeks apart, that's still enough in my opinion. I think it's gonna go the other way around though. Like, so for this time, I think a lot of people stop playing Classic to play retail on Shadowlands. I think if they do TBC and 9.1 at the same time, I think a lot more people will pick. If you have to kind of pick, right? If you have to figure out which one you're gonna invest your time into, people I think are gonna pick TBC over 9.1 because basically it's a new expansion versus a content patch. And it's a new expansion that people already know they love. A lot of people, most people, as to opposed to like a new content patch that's got some great changes in it and some really cool, exciting things. But I don't think it'll be enough to surpass like people's excitement for what they're excited about for TBC, I'm just gonna drink. Well, it's 2 teams prepping this content for Shadowlands. Oh, and Shadowlands was way behind on delays. Yeah, I mean, I get why they did it. It was just, I mean, honestly, I don't think Shadowlands was ready to launch when it launched. There was a lot of really stupid bug fixes that they had to do after it released, like things that should have gotten caught in like beta testing and stuff. And I mean, it's obviously like COVID happens, like all kinds of things happen. It's like, it's not anyone's fault, but I think they tried to, for their like quarterly earnings reports and stuff, kind of like rushed to get, oh no, oof, rushed to get Shadowlands out. And if they would have like waited 6 weeks and just kind of like polished it off a little bit more, let people kind of finish their Nax, experience, I think would have been better. Even if the game was done, even if they didn't change anything, they just didn't release it for 4 or 5 weeks, I think it would have been better overall for just like their player base as a whole. It's just my opinion. Like I would not have felt like, I really want Shadowlands to come out sooner if they postponed the launch another 4 weeks. If we had knacks to do during that entire time. Like that's more than enough stuff to do that the vast majority of people didn't get to experience 15 years ago because it was too difficult, you know? And so I think giving people some time to kind of really get to experience that, even if they don't full clear it, just so it doesn't feel like you're rushing through it. Like it felt for us, I think we had 2 weeks until Shadowlands launch. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I think. I remember having 2 raids. It might have even been less than that, but I don't know. Either way, point being is it just, you know, for me personally, it was not an ideal, oh, this might be bad. It was not an ideal setup. It's crazy, dude. Like in Classic, pulling 2 mobs, you're like, oh shit, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, 4 weeks apart. It's okay. You get the 1 month of hype for each. Yeah, that's my point. It's like, I would not have been mad about it at all. It would have just been, I mean, I am a little bummed. Like we had our whole group go through the entirety of Classic and not really get to experience Nax together, which just kind of feels bad, you know? Like that's kind of like what you're working towards and what you're like hoping to do, and it kind of feels like the rug got pulled out from under us a little bit. And I know there's a lot of other people in similar situations. There's plenty of guilds that, you know, people weren't interested in retail and they just stuck to Classic, and that's fine. It's just, you know, that wasn't our situation. And it's like I love both games, so it's like wanting to play both, you know, put players like me in an odd spot just because you kind of had to pick. It's like, well, do you want to do Nax or do you want to be relevant for the first tier of the new expansion? It's like, well, I guess if everyone's playing the new expansion, TBC needs to come out first, IMO. I mean, I don't think that will be the case, but I would agree. I would like TBC to come out first, but retail is also right now starting to feel kind of stale. You know what I mean? I feel like the 9.0.5 patch really needs to come out soon. And here, I'm gonna pull this guy just because I'm worried I'm gonna body pull him and then die because I pulled too many people. The 9.0.5 patch needs to come out soon in retail. If that comes out next, if it's more than a week from Tuesday, like if it's more than 10 days from now, it's gonna be too long. You're gonna have a lot of people kind of like lose interest, because at this point, to me, even unless I'm logging on to try and do like RBGs on my Warlock, outside of just like playing with friends or like doing random stuff, there's nothing for me to do in Shadowlands right now. So I'm really waiting for 9.0.5 and all those changes to come out to the different legendaries and stuff. That will be, I think, enough time to bridge the gap. But I feel like even right now, there's not really a whole lot for me to do aside from try and push rating. .9.1 is another PvE gear revamp. They didn't realize how bad the Vault Mythic Plus is. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way they did PvP gearing, amazing, right? PvP gearing right now is so good. Wait, was that not the manual? Oh, okay, we're done. Okay, cool. I was like, what? Did I not get it? Okay, then we die in this cave and we spirit res at Crossroads. The PvP gearing in retail is amazing. That is how the gearing should be. Like, if I only want a PvP, I should be able to do that and get good, relevant gear and be rewarded for my time spent PvPing. They should have the same thing in place for people that love Mythic Plus and people that only want to PvE, and like not force all the PvE players to PvP and give them something similar. Like that, they did an amazing job when it comes to the PvP gearing in Shadowlands. I think it's great. there's some things that could be a little bit better. They could have, you know, done some stuff, you know, better than they did, but overall, massive improvement from BFA. Like, how bad was BFA? That was like the most miserable gearing system ever. So it's like, you have to give them credit, right? It's like you have to give positive reinforcement when they've done stuff right, and they did a very good job with PvP gearing. Unfortunately, they did not do something similar for PvE, and that should have been launched on release. It was their mistake for not having it, and it's kind of unfortunate that it feels like a big part of the hype with 9.1, or like stuff that's a big deal, is like stuff that should have just been already in the game, you know? Like, it should have just already been in. What's up, Vide? Is that how you say it? Vide Sweets? Vides? Vide? Am I saying that right? Yeah, I saw a lot of other raids struggle like yours when people lost interest and went to retail. Yeah, I mean, it just, you know, it just kind of happened. There's a huge amount of people. There's people I know, like from Classic, that I've met, you know, through Classic, that they kept raiding. Like, they were fine. A lot of their players didn't have any interest in playing retail. Our guild was not one of those guilds, so we had a huge portion of our player base. We had, you know, I think maybe 6 or 7 of our raiders did not play retail. Like, they were not interested in it. But most of our raiders were interested in retail. And there's a lot of guilds that was like the opposite. Like, they only had to fill a few slots. God, it's still super broke, so I have to struggle through getting on my mats and shit in Shadowlands. Is definitely like how I felt in Classic. Dude, there's something about that. I mean, it's just like the adventure, right? It's like that's part of the RPG aspect, is like really hustling to get everything you need, rather than just being able to buy it all. It's not as rewarding. Right now, the fact that I have to go out and farm vigils because I can't afford to buy 1,000 of them, yeah. I mean, dude, I'm the same way. I don't mind that stuff. Like, I don't mind the farming stuff if it feels like you're like progressing towards something and you're really like working to get something significant. Classic's good about that, and I think they have some of that stuff too, that they did a good job with certain aspects of it in Shadowlands. But unfortunately the raiding, the gearing from raiding is so bad in Shadowlands by comparison to like PvP. Like, to put this in perspective, I am full 226 gear on my Warlock, right? The people in our guild that only raid are like 3 pieces 226, and they have spent probably 2 or 3 times raiding than I have spent PvPing. Probably not 3 times, probably like twice as much time as I've spent PvPing, they spent raiding, and they still don't have as good of eye level from like a competitive standpoint. And like, it's really shitty that that's how it worked. Like, I think that the way the PvP gearing system is, you should have the same stuff where if you're playing one character over and over again and that's your main, and you're accumulating points, you know, every single week or whatever, it should be. What was that sound? Did you guys hear that? That like pop sound? What was that? But it should feel like that. And like all my alts, like my alts are able to get good gear, but not as good a gear as my main, right? Because you just haven't accumulated like the conquest and all that stuff over weeks and weeks and weeks, and you know, the weekly vault rewards and all that stuff. So it's like there's still a significant difference gearing from alts to mains, but yeah, I don't know. I wish they would have just had Valor points in at the beginning. I feel like that would be a big improvement to how Shadowlands actually launched. I think I need to go grab this quest. It's down below. Yeah, it is. Vide. Okay, vide. It's a French word. Do you speak French? I know some pretty inappropriate phrases in French. That's the extent of my French. Still disappointed they haven't figured out how to let players play what they want and get rewarded. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's like stuff that I feel like, I don't know if it would have ever, I don't know if it would have gotten caught at all, like in, like if they didn't launch Shadowlands so early and they waited 4 or 5 weeks, I don't know if they would have been able to really assess that well enough to figure that out. But I mean, I agree. I think it's, there's some things like that that are just, you feel like they would be if you were working at Blizzard and you were sitting there and your job was to kind of analyze the game from a player's perspective and make sure it's balanced and make sure it's fun and all these things. It's like, it always kind of puzzles me. I'm like, how do these people not see this issue? Like, you know, how do you not see like, all of our mythic raiders are gonna have to PvP to get good enough gear to actually do the mythic raid. Like, that doesn't really make any sense, does it? It's like, how did you not go through that, you know, mental scenario before you guys launched the whole expansion? So many servers have like 0 mythic raiding alliance guilds on NA. Yeah, so we actually switched servers because of the difficulty, because we were on Cho'Gall, which has like a population of like 8, and that was part of why we transferred servers, was people worried about that, you know, like it's, you know, I think if we stay on Cho'Gall, it's going to be pretty tough to recruit if we need to for mythic raiding and stuff. It was kind of like preemptively thinking that, you know, if we need to recruit for mythic raiding, that it was going to be really tough if we stayed on Cho'Gall. So it's tough, man. That's definitely the mythic raiding being specific to server is a real issue. Okay, turn this in. Oh, that's right. That's how we learn our cure poison. Fairy Fire, Hibernate, Maul, rank 2. Regrowth, rank 2. I think... Oh, it's this. Hibernate. All the keybinds. So one more point, natural shapeshifter. The reason I'm putting natural shapeshifter first is because I don't use Moonfire too much actually while we're questing. Do I grab this? Pick up Leaders of the Fang, dude. Hey, we're getting close. We are getting close, baby. Okay, I'm actually gonna do this a little different here. I'm gonna go ahead and hearth. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop off stream because I'm getting tired and I'm starting to yawn, and I don't want to sit here and yawn on stream. One of my best pieces is a 210 trinket from Vault. It means I have to do that mythic in my life. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I'm gonna turn these in. I actually hearthed back here to grab the spider egg quest. I think it's gonna have me hearth back here anyway pretty soon, but I also did not grab the egg quest, and so I wanted to do that. That's why actually main reason I came back. See, boom, boom. Deep Moss Eggs. I've had that happen before because I don't think it factors the amount of quests you have as a druid. I had this same issue before on my druid, was that I would get quest capped where I had too many quests in my quest log. Good to see you live. Keep up the good work. As a warlock man, love to watch your videos. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, you have a great night too, Bernie. Let me catch up on. Let me check chat here real quick. Valor Gear will cap out at 220. Yeah, I mean it's a little bit weird, man. The way they're doing the system is a little weird, but I definitely think it's an improvement. I mean, I think you should be able to, no matter what version of the game it is, you should be able to farm stuff in a way that you can make progress and accumulate gear and like get to a piece of gear that you really want without it being just completely random and dropping, you know? And I think the conquest stuff, the vault's kind of shitty in a lot of ways, but like me gearing up strictly from PvP, I didn't mind it because I was able just to kind of like optimize, right? And like I would pick up, you know, either like conquest point pieces or like buy all of my cheaper pieces first in hopes of getting a high like there's ways to kind of play the system a little bit to optimize it, but I still like that, like very worst case, it's just helping you gear quicker. You know, it's like for PvP. PvE was a little bit shittier and you had to do a lot more like work, I feel like, to unlock the vault slots, but you know, it is what it is. All in all, I think it was a general improvement from like the weekly chest, which imagine if like we had the weekly chest, like how much would that suck by comparison? Like the vault has its issues, it's still way better than what BFA had, you know? Gearing in Classic is faster than gearing in retail PvE wise. That's true. True in a lot of ways, especially if you play a druid. If you play a druid in Classic, gearing as a healer as a druid in Classic is a piece of cake because no one ever needs any druid gear. It's like literally you just get full tier 2 in like one BWL run. It's insane. It's all gonna get replaced next patch. Yeah, I know. Maybe there's a system where if you could chain mythics or dungeons, you get better drop rates. That'd be kind of cool. Or if you like speed run, you like run every dungeon and it's like you have a timer and it's like if you kill one mythic and you do the chest, if you time it, you get a buff for like an hour. And you have to go and if you do another mythic like right after another mythic plus, then you get like one more piece of loot. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll see, man. I actually in retail, kind of side note, side tangent, I built the Affliction legendary, the stupid slow one, whatever the hell it's called. So I anticipate I'll be able to climb here in RBGs by having, you know, all 3 legendaries for all 3 specs, and will just make me like a better asset to being able to climb with like a team in RBGs. So that's kind of my hope here in the near future as it relates to retail. A lot of big patch notes coming out in retail too. I plan on leveling this character up. I'm kind of taking my time, you know, we're following the guide, but, you know, just kind of enjoying the leveling experience, leveling his balance. I anticipate this is going to take me, you know, a couple weeks, week and a half or so to do. And, you know, that's kind of the plan. So I'll plan on hopping on and trying to stream, you know, as much of this kind of leveling experience, even if not that many people hop on, just to have it kind of logged and have it up on the channel. So if you guys want to come and hang out anytime, by all means, I really do appreciate it, guys. It's always fun. I'm glad that we got to catch up with some of the classic boys in the chat. It was good to see some of the familiar faces in the chat here. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Like always, I do appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the night. Running on fumes, getting a little tired here. But I'll leave you with the what do we got here? We got one of these old clips here. Leave you guys with an old clip. You guys have a good night. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. We'll be back on soon. Maybe tomorrow if we're lucky. Catch you guys later. You guys have a good night. See ya.